people to join.
Do you want a drink?
I think I've got that.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Right. Wait for everyone to drop on. We're only 10-15 minutes late, so we're not too late at all, really. Saying that, I'm never on fucking time. I always tell people I'm going like, hey Amy. I always tell people I'm going live and I'm always late. Games with Spiritual, joined through the invite. That's Maddie. That thing we went to last night was proper on Pete.
Oh, wow.
Did not fair about time. Hey, I'm always late in style. Late in style. What time do you call this? 20:43. 20:43. I'm a busy man. Kerry, hello love. Kerry's from Yorkshire Ghost Gatherers. Kerry's lovely. What's my number?
Hey, big white hound, come here. Hello. Hello.
Like that, mate. Come on, bed. Like that. Like that.
What are the words bollocks to you? I'm having some fuss mean something.
Yeah,
Like
belly rubs. Go on then. Go on. Go.
Come on, bed. Right. Amy's welcoming everyone in. Hey up, Kerry. Hello, Trouble. You're right. Hello, Gareth. I'm good, mate. Are you? Huh? Hello, Mel. You alright? Hello. And everyone's just about dropped in. Glad you're well, mate. Only here for Nick. Hashtag only here for Nick. It's all you ever bloody are. Hello, Norman. You alright, mate? Nice to meet you. I'm good, thanks, Mel. Really good. So, have we got a little bit of a treat for you tonight? As the other night, sorry, I'll move around a minute. As I said a couple of nights ago, I said that obviously it was going to bring in, hello Bosco, it was going to bring in an occultist. We was going to have a chat, have some understanding about the occult, how the occult works, what the understandings are. Obviously the other night we learnt about voodoo, which is quite interesting, and we didn't realise that there was a connection between voodoo and Catholicism, which blew my fucking mind.
I could have told you that if you'd have asked.
Yeah, it's fucking interesting. So, yeah, it was really good. So I've got some questions to ask my own dad about it, and then we'll do some speaking, and then we'll go from there. We'll work out, hey up, Gaza, and we'll go from there. We'll make it an interesting one. I've got a few questions. I don't need to write them down. They really are generic questions. There's no like trick questions involved that are going to catch anyone out or not like that. We don't work like that. It's just all genuine sort of stuff. So what we're going to do is, if I do this correctly, everyone, this is Cult Dad. Oh, it needs to zoom in a little bit. I need to go back a little bit. A little bit. Just take that first trace. There we go. And I think that'll get us just about both in. The problem is with fucking TikTok screens, you've got to get to it. You've got to get onto it. I've been waiting for you. So, I've got some generic questions for my dad. He's probably already answered them to me before, to be fair. But it's nice that you guys see that answer and get that answer as well. You're the double of your dad. I'm the better looking one.
He wishes.
So, I'm the one with the glasses and the cap though. So thank you all for the gifts. So, we'll get a drop to the questions. Dad, this is everyone on TikTok.
Hello everyone on TikTok.
These are all the people that pretty much follow me. And my Hello Spiritual Bailiff Dad. These are all the people that pretty much follow me. Go on my ghostly quests and go hunting around. So, we'll start off with question number 1.
Okay.
So, question number 1 from me is, what led you away from Christianity and led you to the occult?
Well, basically, what led me away from Christianity is that there was an episode in my life, and I prayed to God, and I says, "Look, I need your help with this one. I need it all sorting out. Can you please help me?" And time, nothing was happening, and I was getting worse and worse and worse. And finally, I ended up on antidepressants and anti-anxiety, and that's where my teacher in the occult came over. And he came in and he says, "Right, I want to know now what's caused this." So I told him everything and stuff like that I'd put my faith in God and all that type of thing. And he turned around to me and says, "I'll show you a new way of doing things, of getting things done. But you've got to come off that medication." I came off the medication and I started my path on the occult. It's been a fascinating and more informative path I've led. But when you think when I thought God was trying to help me, because as you know, at one time I was a devout Christian, there was Bibles in nearly every room, there was crucifixes nearly in every room.
You'd go to church.
I'd go to church and everything like that.
I remember you always wearing a gold cross and stuff like that, so I do remember that, yeah.
And when you just get let down and you pray so hard, and you feel like you're just wasting your time, and you turn to the occult, and you turn around and you say, "I need this doing, please," in the ceremony, and it gets done, that's when you know you're on the right path for you.
Okay. Would you say there's like lots of different paths in the occult, or is it pretty straight and narrow, pretty straight as a die? So obviously by that I mean so with Christianity, you have like Catholicism, you have all sorts of Christians, I can't think. C of A, Catholic, C of A, Anglo-Saxons,
Mormons,
Jehovah's, yeah, that's what I was trying to, can't think of the name. Or would you say the occult is pretty one-lined, this is what we follow, there's no offspray of about 1,000 things?
Well, basically, there's no set path. You form your own path. If you wanted to go down the path of, let's say, demonology, well, you can do that. If you wanted to go down the path of Wiccan or anything like that, yes, again, you can do that.
Okay.
There is no set path. The one thing that the occult teaches you is that you are responsible for your own actions. If you do something that doesn't warrant it, then you're responsible for that. Unlike Christianity, where you follow a set of rules, the 10 Commandments, for instance, you follow those, and that's the guideline you've got to go by. With the occult, you make your own guidelines.
Okay.
And if you go against those guidelines, there are basic guidelines you go by, but if you go against what you believe in and that type of thing, then you come a cropper.
Okay.
So there isn't exactly, excuse me, a Mormon path, let's say, or a Jehovah path, or a Catholic path, or New Life Christian Fellowship, and please, I'm not having a go, where you follow their rules.
Yeah.
If you become a solo practicer like I am, then you make your rules.
Okay.
But there are certain guidelines you do go by.
So you would probably say then that the guidelines are there to help balance what rules you put in place.
Well, basically, one of the rules is that do what thou wilt, and that shall be the law. So me picking up this,
Okay.
a lot of you out there can turn around and say, that didn't happen, but the powers that be saw it did happen. And because I've done that, that's one of the rules.
Okay.
I have done that.
So what was that? Do as I...
Do what thou wilt, and that shall be the law.
Okay.
So in other words, you're responsible for your own actions.
Okay. So that's like very similar to the threefold law then, if you was to come around and do something, and the actions from the comeuppance of that would then put you in a place.
The other thing is that if you do something, let's say you someone's offended you, and you hit them with a hex or anything like that, you've got to make sure that that hex is justified.
Okay.
Because if it's not, it can come back and get you. It will come back and get you.
Right.
So again, there's your two laws: do what thou wilt, and that shall be the law. And the other one is, like as I've just said, justify your actions.
Okay, interesting. What would you say the occult means to you?
The occult means to me is the truth.
Okay.
Now, basically, Christianity goes by the Bible, right? What the Bible has had done to it over the years, there have been letters, there have been words changed, and over the years there have been bits and pieces taken out, right?
Okay.
So you're not getting the full story. So the occult to me is the full story about what has happened. A lot of people, if you ask a lot of people, they will turn around to you and they will say that the first wife of Adam was Eve. That's wrong. The first wife of Adam was Lilith. It should be in the Bible, but it's not.
So that is a teaching from... we'll do questions in a bit, Donna, so keep that one, and we'll drop back to you, mate. We'll ask everyone to pop some in. That's thrown me now. So, to believe in the occult, you have to have a take of the Bible. You still have to believe in God and Jesus Christ, and you still have to believe in Satan, I believe. Well,
yes, you do have that little thing if you so wish. I mean, I believe in the 3 of the 4, actually. I believe in the 4. And it helps me with guidance and that type of thing. But one thing I am not going to do is I am not going to take orders from someone in the pulpit who thinks they're better than me. I'm not going to do that. As we say in the occult, I am no better than anyone and no one is better than me. You were all equal. No matter what rank in life you own, you have, you're all equal.
So that's a good understanding, and there's no one who's anyone better than anyone else. You are literally, everyone's an equal. No one's, you can't really play the whole dick swinging game there, can you?
You can't do, no.
We're all as one.
If you wanted to go down to rankings, I suppose, then you've got things like Nephilite, do apologise, a Nephilite, and that's someone who's just starting out in the occult.
Okay.
They stay back, they see how ceremonies are done, they read the books, and that's how they start off. I started off as a Nephilite.
Okay.
A reverend of the occult taught me. Okay. I'll not mention his name.
These guys have heard about him before. You can mention him. So, I've mentioned him. So I've told these about our storyline and.
So the Reverend Allah taught me, and he's still teaching me today. From a Nephilite, you go to what's known as a dark magician. Mm-hmm. It's just a title, right? That's where you can do small stuff and that type of thing. So that's what you're doing in that. From that, you go to a dark priest. Mm-hmm. Which is what I am, right? Mm-hmm. That's going a bit more and more and more into it. And finally, at the top of the ladder, you've got what's called a magus. And that's what the Reverend Allah is.
That's what Ray is.
That's what Ray is.
So if everyone wants to know who Reverend Allah is, I've mentioned him before in lives because people have asked me how I got into paranormal investigation, how I got into spiritual stuff. Like I have said to a lot of you before, it's been in my family a very long time. You go right back to my dad's granddad, who was into voodoo, was into practicing voodoo. It was voodoo, wasn't it?
It was voodoo.
It was voodoo. He was very much practicing the voodoo. And I think I've told you all that before. And then some stuff went down. I'm not going to go into detail tonight, but we have mentioned it before. With my nan, which is my dad's mum. Some stuff kicked off there. With my Uncle Ray, all quite still family, all quite still spiritual that went on. And then it's pretty much just sewn down the ladder, from I'd probably say from your great granddad, isn't it? So you go
from great granddad,
from my great granddad, your granddad, from him to his son Ray to his nephew, and didn't really follow much, did she? Until the occurrence and everything happened.
She really didn't follow it and that type of thing until the occurrence happened in Victoria Close.
Yeah,
and that's when things really started to heat up there. But that area has got supernatural activity in it anyway.
Yeah, so
Because believe it or not, it was actually built on a battlefield from the English Civil War, that area.
was it?
It was.
I didn't know that.
If you go on Foxby Hill in Gainsborough, there's a war memorial there. There's a memorial there to the English soldiers who died in the English Civil War. It's there.
Oh, I've never seen that. There's something for you guys. If you ever go to a war memorial in Gainsborough on the on Foxby Hill, you'll Dad's got to join my team, join the occult team. Then there's a little memorial to check out from the English Civil War. I didn't even know that, and I grew up in Gainsborough. So we've done what's the occult mean to you. We've done like the practicing. So take us down the lines. War of the Roses. Oh, that's Butcher 031 is because of my cousin Rick. You know my mum's side.
It wasn't War of the Roses. It was the English Civil War.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
So moving away from that a little bit, how would you say you practice? So let's say your Christianity, which everyone's familiar with, not pushing Christianity with anyone, because obviously, like I said to you the other night, I'm coming away from it more and more myself, the more and more I learn. With Christianity, every Sunday you go to church. Would you say there is something along them lines in the occult? Is there certain nights of practice? Is there certain things you should do for prayer? Is there how many times you should pray a month or anything like that?
Well, basically, there's no set rule. There isn't any set rule. I mean, some people they'll celebrate the summer solstice, they'll celebrate winter solstice, and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. They celebrate that. If you don't want to, then you don't have to. Halloween. All Hallows Eve or Samhain, whatever you want to call it, it's that. It's the same thing anyway. But you can always have a little Thanksgiving type of thing for that. I intend to do one this year, actually, to give thanks for all the knowledge I've acquired and all the help I've had in doing certain ceremonies. If you do a certain ceremony that requires you to pay homage every so often,
okay,
then yes, you do have to do that.
Okay.
Above all that, not really, you don't. Not really. I mean, if something happens in your life and the powers that be with the occult have gone and helped you with that, it's always nice to go in there and set it into your room or in front of your altar, whatever you've got, and give thanks. Okay. Now, give thanks can be, say, paying homage to that spirit that's helped you, or it can be an offering. Some of the powers that be, I know Baphomet's one of them, Lilith's another one, and they like red wine. So basically you get a glass of red wine, you don't drink it unfortunately.
Oh, God damn it.
And then you give it to a tree or something like that, you give it to a tree.
Oh, wow,
that is giving thanks.
Oh, so that explains giving homage. That was going to be my next question. Yeah. How do you give homage or
pay homage?
How? Yeah.
It can be in the form of things like, I mean, if you go for the voodoo one, Papa Legba, he likes brown sugar, he likes sweets, he likes cigars, he likes rum and all that type of thing.
My kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my tattoo is actually, to be fair, on my neck.
So basically what you would do, you would gather these together, you would find a nice tree, dig a hole, put them in there, bury them over. That's it. You've paid it back.
Okay.
You've paid homage.
And there's to homage. Is there specific ways that you have to pay? Do you always have to give it to a tree, or can it just be like an underground or near a river, for instance?
Well, basically, how it works is that if you was to summon a certain if you summon a certain entity or that type of thing, and that you say to this entity, I wish for your help to help them to do this, like. If you was to summon Astrophoth to help you out, and then you would read up on Astrophoth to see how you would pay that back.
Oh, okay.
So basically Astrophoth might say, right, just pay homage to me for a month, which you pay homage to him. You just go in there, you give thanks and that type of thing in front of the altar and an image or a sigil of Astrophoth, and that's all that would be. However, sometimes you might need to give something back to the earth. And if you're using earth magic, energies from the earth, you would have to give back some plant food and some spring water to pay back what you have taken.
Oh, interesting. So, as we go from the understanding of that, we go over to the deities now. How many is there? Is there like a dozen, and
There's 76 of the Gocha. I can't name them all, but the popular
Fucking
ones.
hell, 76.
There's 76 of
Wow.
Gocha. There's people like Ashrafloth, Asmodee, Lilith, obviously, Samel, Baphomet. Crikey, there's that many of them, there really is. And each one of them has their own sigil. So if you wanted to contact one of those spirits, you would painstakingly copy out the sigil on some parchment, not paper, parchment has to be done on that. And then you could put that on your altar and call that spirit up with the proper ceremony. But don't forget, if you call that ceremony up, if you call that spirit up, some of them can be tricky. You've just got to watch it. There's one that comes to mind straight away. I don't want to even say his name, but he did star in one of the films, The Exorcist. He was in that one, apparently. I never saw him. So that is basically it. You call them up. They help you with what you want to do, and that's it.
Okay. So let's, because we'll still stay on like the deities and stuff like that, and how interesting it is. Because even I'm learning here, guys. This is something new to me. Even this is interesting for me.
First time I've listened in years.
The first time I've listened to him in years. Yeah. I owe Dad an apology a couple of months back because I thought he was quite into Satanism, and I pretty much I branded him. And he was like, "Oh, come have a look at my room that I've got." So Dad's got like a house very similar to my room, but his is more of an altar room, like a full-on altar room. And he's like, "Come have a look." And I was like, "Nope, probably won't even stay in his house for any longer than 30 minutes." Yeah, I was in. "Hey Dad, you all right?" Blah blah blah. Straight back out. Not interested. And then me and Nick went down to Cornwall. We went to the Witches Museum, and it wasn't until that did I realise how wrong I actually was in the understandings of the occult and Baphomet and how it all works. We came back from Cornwall. We came back up here, back home. And one of my priorities was actually going to my dad and say, "I owe you an apology," because I generally thought the occult and stuff like that was very much related to Satanism and down that road. And it's not so much. But I think that's the thing that the Christian faith wants you to believe. It's a preacher will say, "It's all Satanism and blah blah blah," and it's actually not. You go read a proper article down at the museum in Cornwall, and it will explain absolutely everything to you. And they've got pages. They've got a 7-foot Baphomet figure, which I've got a photograph on there somewhere. And we stood next to it. The guy taller than me. But yeah, so it is very interesting.
You see, at the end of the day, the way it works is Christianity is much of control. I see it as that.
Yeah, I've
hence the 10 Commandments, why you've got these, you will obey these commandments and stuff like that. You know, like thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not do this, that or the other. Respect thy mother and thy father.
Goddamn Christianity.
Yeah. That's Christianity. It's telling you what you can and can't do. Like I said before, with the occult, you're responsible for your own actions. You, at the end of the day, if you mess something up, then you're responsible for putting it right. End of.
Ah, I see. So, I'm gonna. What would be if, let's say, the one that we all know of, Baphomet. Mm-hmm. What are, let's say, his strengths? What would you call upon him for, and how would you go about calling up for assistance?
Well, it all depends on what I wanted to do. I mean, some people will follow Baphomet, other people will follow Asmodee. I've known one or two people, especially women, they follow Lilith.
Okay.
And the way that goes is, if you're taken to one, then, that's the one you tend to follow. Me, it's Baphomet.
Okay. And what how can I describe this? What would you go to Baphomet for?
What would I go to Baphomet
how
for?
How would you produce yourself to Baphomet and ask for the assistance or the guidance?
Well, first of all, there's a certain thing you've got to do, and that's called, the first thing you do is, because in front of a demon or anything like that, whatever you want to call them, you stink. So the first thing you've got to do is what's known as a ceremonial bath.
Okay.
And that is a bath, really. It's a bath of water, and you put some sage in it. Mm-hmm. Or you can put some salt in it. And that cleanses the soul and the body. And as you're doing that, you're brushing it, all your bad energy, out. And you stay in the bath until the last drop of water is out.
Okay. I think I've read that somewhere that when you are cleansing, I mean, I do it when I'm cleansing, so that's very similar to what I do, is I'll cleanse and then you drain the plug. Hi, Claire. You drain the plug and you leave when the bad energy is drained away down the plug and gone.
Your feet go towards the plug hole and you're pushing on your legs to push the bad energy out, and it's going down the what we call it.
Okay.
You also do your ears, your nose, your mouth, and every other orifice you've got.
Salt water up your
Salt
nose.
water can do that. Oh. Yes, you can use salt or you can use sage. I personally use sage. After that, you get out. You don't rub yourself dry.
Okay.
You pat yourself dry.
Okay.
After that, you put your ceremonial robes on if you've got them. I have.
You got some ceremonial robes?
I've got ceremonial robes.
Cool.
After that, you put your ceremonial robes on and you go in there. You show respect to the deity which you're going to, which mine will be Baphomet, which you go in front of the altar, you bow, you give thanks in the way that you say, and then you start your ceremonies. But in order to go into the ceremony, if you wanted to go straight, you have to do what's called transcending, and I'll go into that one later on, how to do that.
Okay, so there is a lot more to it. A lot more. It's not as quick and easy as people think that looks at.
But you see, what the problem is that some people will actually go to some of these bookshops. There's one in Marshall's Yard, I'm not going to say the name, and they'll see these little books saying how to do witchcraft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they'll buy these books.
I bought one of them books.
And they'll buy these books
Nick's
and
got
they'll
one too.
read them. And they'll read them. And they think just because they've read them that they can do this type of thing. And that's not the case. There's a lot more to it, but these books don't tell you how to do it. If you wanted to learn it and you wanted to know how to do it, then it's best to have someone who's been there, worn the t-shirt, worn the baseball cap, eaten the chocolates and all that type of thing, and let them teach you. There's a lot to it.
So it's not about what you read, clearly. It's not about what you...
No, it's not about what you read. It's everything to go into there.
And I suppose it's a bit like any faith. No matter what you are, whether you're interested in voodoo, whether you're a Christian, whether you're Muslim, there is always a preacher. So there is always someone there to teach, guide, and point you in the right direction, which is quite interesting. So you'd have your ceremonial bath. You pat yourself down dry, you pop on your ceremonial robes, which you've got, and then you'd go in and then obviously bow, ask for thanks, give thanks, and then I take it then you explain. Do you explain what you want?
Well, no, not really, no. I mean, there'll be a certain ceremony, like, there's certain ceremonies that you can do, and it's like making a loaf of bread. You put all the ingredients together to get the outcome. Now, some of the ingredients could be black candles. Some of the ingredients could be, lavender incense. And then there's certain words that you perform as well, that type of thing. So it isn't a matter of just going into the altar and saying, now then, Baphomet, I need this, that, and the other done. Can I have this? Cheers, mate, I'll catch you later. It doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. Some of the ceremonies that I use are used in Latin. I spoke in Latin, and that's one of the things I can do. I can speak a little bit of it, but it's only a ceremony I ever speak it.
Okay, interesting. So each deity's got its own way of speaking to it as such.
Well, yes and no, so to speak. Yes and no, so to speak. Certain deities, they all understand Latin. But some of them will also understand different languages and that type of thing. So there's a wide range of that.
So earlier on you mentioned transcending. Explain what transcending is.
Well, transcending...
Try not to go into too much detail and confuse people.
Well, transcending...
Try to keep it simple.
Transcending is a bit like going into a trance. It's a bit like going into a trance and going into a... how can I put it? It's like going into a trance and also crossing over into the spirit world.
Okay, so that
So it's like a very, very deep relax, and how you start that is you feel everything from the top of your head down to your toes, just relaxing. There's breathing exercises and things like that to do. In through the beak, out through the mouth, and that's the way you do that type of thing. And
So
it's more like how can I put it? It's it's a relaxing technique. It's a relaxing technique.
it's a bit like what's it called? Meditation.
Meditation. That's what it's looking for. Yeah, meditation, but it's a lot deeper.
Hey, Jojo. Interesting.
Meditation, but it's a lot deeper.
So maybe that's where I've gone wrong in some of my stuff, because I know a few of you have been on board when I've tried to cross over and pass. I probably don't do the whole full meditation thing to try to communicate. Astro travel, yeah. I try doing that, but I don't do the whole from the top of your head or from the bottom of your legs all the way up. Now, I was with a cult dad here for a seance that they did, which I found really interesting. So we all sat in a fully, hello under darkness, we sat in a fully blacked out room. Like, you couldn't see this in front of you. And I actually didn't sit around the table. I sat away from the table because I wanted to see what was going on. Obviously, I couldn't see what was going on because it was quite dark, but I could hear it and I could make it out. So what I did is I listened, and I listened to the what do you call someone who's in charge of the table?
Well,
is that person got a name, haven't they?
They've got a name, but we don't really use it.
I can't think what the bloody name is now.
Normally, if you've got someone like that, you have someone what's called a master of ceremonies.
Master, right. We'll put it down to the master of ceremony just first, so we've got a name for it. The master of the ceremony at the time started off, it was really interesting, and you had to imagine this ball of light. And the ball of light, if I remember correctly, was passed round to everyone. And
everyone added their energies to it.
Yeah, and it was all done via the spiritual communication with each other. And then after the ball of light was passed around to gain the energy, it was then, everyone had to envision there was it a circle or something that went from like the feet up, or was it different colours or something?
There was something like that.
It was something that passed, that went up and through you. And then that enabled the seance to commence, which I found that quite interesting. Now, the person who conducted that seance, I believe she's also a cult.
No, she's a witch.
Okay, so Ray was just there to guide, I suppose. Right, cool. So that was in depth. That's quite in depth, actually. We've done what does the occult mean to you. We've done the practices and the seance, how that works. We've done how you got into the occult. If you was to give any sort of information to people, any guidance into the occult, what would you say to them if they were looking at the occult?
If they're looking at it, the first thing I would actually say is the first thing you should be learning is your protection.
Mm-hmm.
That is the utmost, that is most important. You cannot do a ceremony, well, you can do a ceremony without doing your protection, but it's not really worth the risk. So if you're thinking of going into the occult and doing these ceremonies, then the first thing you learn straight away is your protection. And there's one that we use quite regularly, it's called the Kabbalistic cross. We use that one, which you face east and you say what you need to say. And that, so there isn't just that, the Kabbalistic cross. There's ones for your car, believe it or not, which with his heaps, yes, he does need it. So you got one for your car, you got one for your home, you got one for other people and that type of thing. So that is the very first thing that should be going into your book of shadows or your spell book, whatever you want to call it, is protection, protection, protection. And I can't drill that in enough, because if you don't do that, you're basically leaving a barn door open for anyone just to walk in, and some of these spirits, they will do it.
So that sounds like a control thing. Do you have to say to the deity or the spirit, look, I'm in control, I have cleansed. This is my property.
No. Basically, if you go into, you do all your ceremony and that type of thing, right? And then you've done your ceremony. At the end of the ceremony, so if you've done Ouija boards, if you've done things like crystal divination and stuff like that, then that's when you do your protection. It's a barrier. It's a barrier, really, to stop anything coming through and having to go at you. Without the protection, it gets you straight away. So basically, you put your protection there, it's not going to get through.
So as you're going into the occult, protection is key.
Protection is key, king, and everything.
Okay. Would you say the deities that you pray for oh, bollocks, that's unusual. Something I haven't spoke about. That's really random. So, would you say that the deities or the things that you ask for help with or anything like that, would you say that they're a risk of harming you, or are they always pretty much safe to work with?
Well, it all depends, really. I mean, there are one or two that will try it and that type of thing. If you're doing a protection, so you do your protection ceremony, but you do it for another. So basically, he comes up to me, does Mike, and he says, "Dad, I've got this problem. What's your problem?" He tells me what the problem is, like he's been hounded by an evil spirit and stuff like that. I says, right, fair enough, I will do the protection for him. That means the spirit won't get to him. However, because I've done the protection, it can get to me. But because I'm a wise person, I put the protection on so it can't go anywhere.
So you're pretty much locking that bad energy and that bad spirit down, so you're not going to hurt him, and you're most certainly not going to fucking hurt me. You will pretty much sit down and I'm in charge sort of thing. It's
a case of, right, go find someone else to bug, because you ain't bugging me, you ain't bugging him, and that's the end of it.
Got it. I always wondered why I was so safe in going around places. So that's so ballsy. So that'll break that down. So we understand that obviously we need protection if we're looking into the occult and we're looking at taking that path. We've got an understanding. We know about that the occult is all about is what you make of it. We'll drop to some. I think you guys have all got some interesting questions. Oh, thanks, Annie from the Owens family head mod. There we go. Hi, Annie. Elle's just asked a good question. How long have you been practicing the occult for?
I've been practicing it for 4 years.
God, that's gone quick, hasn't it?
It has gone very quick. I've been practicing it for 4 years. And when you actually go down the occult, if you try and fight it, you're going to get nowhere. I mean, my occult room's painted black, and when I was going further and further and further into it, the powers that be was guiding me what to do. Now, I tried to put off my painting my occult room black for weeks.
In my old bedroom.
In his old bedroom. And believe you me, when I painted it, there was some bits and pieces in it around. I thought, what's he painted that for? But anyway, I've been doing it for 4 years, and the way it goes is that I've come stronger and stronger and stronger each time. And it isn't just a case of, right, that's it, it's done. My room's done, because you're forever altering it, you're forever making adjustments and that type of thing. You're forever doing repairs to it as well.
Repairs? What you done to my room? Next question, if anyone's got one. Kerry, do you want to ping up your question, my love? I bet you've got 1 million in you. Kerry's the one who I've been on a few investigations with. She's asked me to come across, do a few investigations with her. She's also reached out to me for some protection with some stuff, which I've done what I believe is my way, and for me, the eyes of the Lord.
I mean, to be honest with you, the Lord's Prayer is actually a form of protection. And here's something for you. When it comes down to spell books and that type of thing, one of the strongest actually spell books, ceremony books, to actually get hold of, and everyone can get hold of this one just like that. It's actually Psalms in the Bible.
Psalms in the Bible. So even the occult has bits of the Bible to reference off, I suppose.
It has quite a lot of other bits and pieces to reference off. Yeah, you're quite right on that one. There's pieces in Revelations that you can use and that type of thing. It's referred to, but people say it's the Holy Bible. Well, yeah, it is, but in another sense of the word, it's also another occult book.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
It's also another occult book.
So Kerry's just put, I want to get into this. Where's the best place to start? As I'm a witch, as a witch, am I able to? So she's a witch at the moment, and she wants to get into the occult. Where is probably the best place for her to start?
Well, the best thing to start with is to find someone who follows that, who can give you guidance and reassurance.
Owens family.
Give you guidance and reassurance, because there's no manuals on this.
Oh, the Christians will be raving.
Oh dear, how sad, never mind.
Oh, sounds like me, doesn't it?
But when it comes down to it, to be honest with you, if you wanted to go down that path, I've known a white witch. She wouldn't have anything to do with me really, because she saw me as, well, Darth Vader.
He is Darth Vader.
And the funny thing is that she used to be in this little shop that we've got in Gainsborough, sweet shop. You've probably seen the Haunted Sweet Shop when you did the investigation there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she used to be in there, and I used to walk in, and they used to play the Empire March, when Darth Vader and that type of thing. I used to play that for a bit of a laugh. But the thing with that is that she saw what I could do. She saw how it altered me. She saw how it improved my life, and so she gave up the white witchery. And she became an occultist. And she's never looked back.
Interesting. So, Kerry, that answers your question, my love. Pretty much, it doesn't matter, I suppose, what background you have. If you want to, I suppose, cross, and believe in something else.
It's just about walking up another path, really.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Having another guide, I suppose. And I suppose that's very similar for me at the minute. Like I said to you last night, was it last night or the night before, one of the two? I've slept since. I was on about, Christianity for me. Thank you for the gifts, Annie. I was looking at coming away from, not so much my ordinationship, I'll keep that. But I was maybe coming a little bit more away from Christianity and going that way.
To be honest with you, say these...
Someone pin the Owens family's comment for me, just so I can come back to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go on.
I forgot what I was going to say now. No, when it comes down to Christianity, to be honest with you, they tell you what to do. Occult doesn't.
Okay. So, the Owens family put, are spirit guides your family usually?
They can be, but how can I put it? They can be, but not usually, no. Okay. A spirit guide can be anything that latches onto you. Now, the thing is that what a lot of people actually believe and stuff like that a spiritual guide is a red Indian, like Tonto from the Lone Ranger or something like that. No. A spirit guide can be any spirit that latches onto you. It's usually one of the goachas that'll guide you throughout your quest and your knowledge of the occult. They will guide you. It's actually very, very weird. One Halloween I was walking, when I was about a year and a half into it actually, I was walking past a shop at Halloween time, and I just looked into this shop because I felt like I had to. And when I looked, there was an occult book there that I had to have, and I went in there and I says, how much for that book? And they says, oh, well, we don't really know. We don't know about selling it. I says, well, name your price. And I went, well, just give us 50p for it. Oh, yeah, you're getting 50p for it then. So they got 50p and I got the Book of Higher Magic. Now, I believe at the end of the day, it was my spirit guide, Baphomet, the deity who's looking after me. He guided me there, because I wouldn't have usually taken that route home anyway. But that day, for some reason, I walked that route home, and that was the book.
And something told, someone screamed out to you.
Screamed out to me.
Okay. So, Donna, fiery Donna, she's fiery, brush yourself.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, what I can do, so when you turn around and go, what I can do, what does that mean, please?
Well, it all depends on what you want to be able to do. Some people turn around and say, can you do the lottery numbers? I wouldn't advise it. I really wouldn't.
Okay.
So if anyone's sick, I knew a 5-year-old child that was sick. and we did a ceremony to try and delay the illness. Unfortunately, later on in life, she did lose her life, but we prolonged it a little bit more for her. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are an occultist or whatever you are, death has the final word, but we managed to prolong it a little bit for her. On the other side, if someone's cheesed you off and really done what you call it, yeah, you can hex them. Right, you're picking this up, all this bad luck and stuff like that. I've done about 3. I'll admit it, I've done about 3 voodoo dolls. The other thing is that if you want to bring someone good luck, yes, you can do that. It's quite easy.
Okay. So I hope that answers that for you, Donna. So, you know, there are abilities of things you can do. Elle has ask a question. Why is the occult, even on movies, characterised as worshipping demons and dark magic?
Because it's done for entertainment reasons.
It's like the Western media is such.
It's a bit like, it's a bit like the cowboy films where they portray every cowboy carried a 6-shooter. Well, no, they didn't. If they was gonna put on Hollywood like, I don't know, Julie Andrews doing The Sound of Music and that type of thing, well, okay, fair enough, it brings in it brings in that type of people, but if you bring in the horror films, you've got to have the evil magic and the evil priest or whatever. Otherwise, there's no story. So basically, we was demonized by Hollywood.
Okay, so I get that. Cousin Butch, when I started mediumship, my spirit guide was someone murdered in town. Jesus Christ! Wow.
You can, yes.
Wow.
That's another one. A spirit will take to you.
So, Kerry's put, why can't we ever get names of our guides? I'm struggling.
You can get names of your guide, but at the end of the day, you've really, really got to go into the meditation part and the transcension part. And chances are, if you can transcend and sort of cross over, well, don't exactly cross over, I'll go into that one in a bit, you can get to meet them and you'll know who they are.
Okay. So would you say if someone can't identify the name of their spirit guide, would you say that person isn't going deep enough or needs to try more harder or try more regular?
I'd say they need to be working a bit more harder at it. They need to be looking a bit harder.
Work harder.
So basically if they know how to transcend, that would be the idea for them.
Okay, so from that, Kerry, I'd probably say try a bit harder with your transcending and try make that connection, that communication, mate, and that should hopefully put you the Owens family, that's well nuts, to be honest. Okay, I am going down the comments, guys, so I am just getting to them. It is so interesting though. Owens family, it really is. Alison's one of the mediums that comes with me on my live. She pretty much assists me quite a lot, bless her. And there's someone else in here, so somewhere, wherever she's hiding, she's quiet. The Owens family. So, what in that case do you believe? Heaven and hell kind of thing. So I think
the heaven and hell is created by the Christians again. It's a case of if you don't do as I do, then you're going to go burn, right? If you do as I say and follow and be a good little doggy, then you'll go to heaven. That was created by the Christianity. If you look in the Bible, it don't exactly mention that. It don't exactly mention it.
Okay.
There is a spirit world where we all go to.
Is that what the occult believes, that there's a spirit world that we go to, but there's the heaven and hell thing?
The heaven and hell thing is just a load of rubbish at the end of the day. The heaven and hell part was put in so people become obedient. If I was to say to you, I don't know, let's say you do my bidding for me, otherwise I'm going to come round there and I'm going to kick your head in, then you're going to do it. Well, you might do, I don't know. But if I say to you, well, would you please do this for me? Then, yeah, you do it. And it's that fear factor that the Christian faith put in there, like the heaven and hell type of thing, just to control you.
There you go. I hope that answers that for you, James. Melcat, why do dark cults attack chosen ones?
I've not known it. I've not known it.
I mean,
It isn't so much as a dark cult as such. It's the actions of the person. So if a person's dark, then they're going to be doing evil intent anyway. It's a bit like how can I put this?
The knife situation.
The knife situation. You see, I can get a knife, right?
Careful how you say it, because TikTok will restrict us.
I can get a knife, right, and I can use it for good or I can use it for evil. The good part is I can slice a loaf of bread up, I can butter the bread with a knife, put a bit of meat, some vegetables on it, and then I can feed someone with that. That's using it for good. The evil part comes in is that when you use it to harm, to damage, that's the big difference. It's all in the hands of the operator.
And I hope that helps you there, Mel. So, again, it's the blade and article situation. You can do good, you can do bad with it. It's down to the person who's taken that and done whatever. So I suppose if you've received dark energy and dark magic and someone's put like a hex on you, then you'll perceive it as dark. Whereas I suppose like Occult Dad mentioned a minute ago, he went to a property when there was a 5-year-old child and with another priest and prolonged the life of the child. So that's good. That's not seen as a bad thing. And it was so that child could spend more time with their family. Let's have a look. Miss K, so interesting currently. Don't be attacked for the house. Da, 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 da. Nikki, how you love you? Michael, how are you? Hello, mate. Hell, we're already in hell.
With this government, we are, yeah.
Agreed. I believe this is hell. Okay. I really like your dad, Mike. He's very truthful and makes sense. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to admit it too. That's really got me thinking. This is what I believe. Brian. Okay, so Don's got a good question there. Fired on it. If occultism is something to practice, then why is it protection so essential?
Well, basically, no matter which way you look at it, even in Christianity, you will always get bad energies. You will always get that. So the idea is that if there's any bad energies coming through, you always need to protect yourself against those.
So protection is key, because no matter what you do, whether it be witchcraft, the occult, voodoo, anything like that.
I suppose the best way to look at it is that when you get in your car to drive it, you put your seatbelt on. Well, that's your protection. That seatbelt is your protection against getting harmed. You know, if you don't put that on and you're in a smash, then you're going to get hurt. And it's the same with the occult. You know, your protection is your ceremony, or your seatbelt, so to speak, right? So if anything does happen bad, like that bad energy comes back at you, then you've always got that protection just to go, poink, goodbye.
There you go. That breaks that down for you, Donna, mate. Jojo, me too. Okay. Paranormal experts, very interesting man, definitely. Oh, you're interested, apparently. Mm-hmm. Sorry, not shouting a word correctly. That's all right, mate. Protection is always essential.
It is.
The Owens family have put, thanks for answering, buddy. That really got my brain ticking. Mate, it's got my brain ticking. It got my brain ticking a few weeks back. I've always said that there is no heaven and hell. I need a month with him.
No problems. If he wants to contact me some other way, then I'll talk.
Definitely. So Spirit Spotters, definitely protection is a must. Also, just as we have to protect ourselves here. Yeah, absolutely. That won't be long enough. Why can I sense when bad things and deaths? Okay, so KB's put, why can I sense when bad things and deaths of people?
Well, that's down to the third eye that we all have. Now, when we're born, we do have this third eye.
If you look on the photo, I've got my third eye thing there.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have a third eye. Now, as you get older and you don't use it, it drifts away. But with some people, when they enhance it, it stays with them. The thing is that if your third eye is trained to contact, to training for disasters and that type of thing, then that's all it will see.
Like mine was.
Yeah, like that. Unfortunately, Mike, when he was a young one, did see the 9/11 attacks, and he woke up crying his eyes out over it, and I had to settle him down. The next day, as we know what happened.
Yeah. It wasn't until we realised what had happened, we was actually watching it on the telly, weren't we?
Yeah, it was actually.
And then I went, Dad, I've seen that. I saw that happen.
That's very true, very true. But like as I say, it's down to the third eye. When you're born, you do have the third eye, and it's just developing it.
Okay, so I hope that answers. Let's have a look. Headmore, true 12 then. Paranormal experts, I understand that, but nothing in mainstream faith requires it. I also sense this. So I would probably say, KB, that your third eye is quite open. Elsport, what does your dad think of you crossing dark spirits over? As in, does he worry about it? So, good question there is, do you worry about what I do?
I do worry about it due to the fact that all you've got to do is just make one slip up. And if you make that one slip up, then that's when it's going to really fire back at you. And that's what you've got to really, really watch. I mean, hopefully you'll take some away with him tonight, apart from my wallet. Sorry about that. And he'll take some information and stuff like that. And then one day I'm expecting a knock on the door. Dad, can you show me some of these protections that you do? And yes, I will show him. Because at the end of the day, like I say, protection is everything.
So, I can answer that one for you, El, as well. I know for a fact, I go into places quite confident. And I know I go into places quite abrupt. I'm quite forward. I've got a positive, strong energy. But I also know that if stuff started going south for me very fast and I was under attack or it was something out that I couldn't deal with, then I have got someone. I don't think I would be as half as forward with it as if I didn't have a cult dad. Because I know if something went wrong and I ball something up, and I'm not saying I am perfect, like at all. I'm pretty sure at some point I will have to call upon my dad and say, look, I have done something wrong. I've tried to do something and it's gone terribly wrong. Can you come help me? There's something that's followed me home. Let's say I've not done my protection properly. I've not opened up a closed down properly. Something's come home with me. Dad, can you come help? Because I've balls this one up. So I'm quite confident with going into places spiritually because I've got a backup. I've got a right hand man. If shit hits the fan and I can't control or deal with it, then I've got someone who can come in and be like, right, what have you done, you idiot? Let's see what you did. Let's see how we can go about it and what we can do from there. Would I then have to pay homage if I call on you for help?
In a way, yes.
So, and even I would have to pay. Even not being an occultist, I would then have to pay. So I think, that answers your question. You do worry about me going into these places and
well, I always
kicking ass.
He always turns around to me and he says when he goes into these places and stuff like that, I always say, look, he's done 1 or 2 lone vigils and I'm totally against those.
Yeah, you don't like me doing loans.
I don't like those loners. And they always say, take someone with you because if anything happens, you've got the backup there. But no, he still goes and does his own thing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm watching TikTok quite a bit now to keep an eye on him.
Old fogey's watching TikTok.
So, yeah, me. So when it comes down to it, if anything does go wrong, or Nick can turn around to me and say, Mark, I need to pick you up to take you to where Michael is. Something's gone wrong. I'm in that car and I'm just gone.
Did you hear that, baby? If things go south and it all goes wrong for me, get Dad.
And I'll just get my stuff and I'll just turn around and say, right, this thing's leaving.
Okay. So Higher Fife is actually Danny from Marshall Yard Security.
Right,
He comes on my TikToks quite a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Danny, Jay has said, do you believe in reincarnation?
There has been evidence of it happening. It, you've got to kind of think about it like this. There has been cases of it, and it's been very strong evidence. But on the personal thingy, I would say that it's a spirit intruding on a person's mind and body. I would say that.
Okay. Donna's put, never known of mainstream faith requiring protection. I can help you with that one, Donna. So mainstream faith like Christianity, when we pray and stuff like that, and we ask for forgiveness with God or to help us or guide us in our light and protect us, yeah? So that, a simple prayer is like Christianity protection. That's very simple. Thank you, Teresa, for the gift. So even Christianity, when we're praying to God and we're asking for forgiveness, can you protect us, this house, this household? There's some prayers that I carry out when I'm doing a cleansing of a property that'll cleanse the house and it will clear up that house, and it's protection for the house pretty much. You know, one of the things I use is I rebuke you, devil, out of this property, and I protect everyone. You know, I use the Lord Jesus to protect everyone in that property. So even mainstream as Christianity, similar for myself, at this moment in time, we use protection. I hope that helps you, mate. The Owens family, Jay was just about to ask this. Okay. King's Average Jackie Chan. Hi, hello. I'm not casting shade, I'm just having conversation. No, that's fine, mate. You're welcome to ask. We've always got I've always believed in the spiritual realm, but not in God. So, okay. So, you could get a few different answers from that one, James. I would say, could be bits of dissimilar to my dad. For me personally to believe in the spiritual realm, I have to believe in God and a heaven and a hell and the abyss, and how I cross something over and how I pass something to the abyss, and then it'll work on the Lord's comeuppance and judgment, and then from there for me it'll either go to heaven or hell. That's my take on it. What you say there, James, is very, very occulty. I've always believed in the spiritual realm, but not in God. So I think what James from the Owens family is saying is that he believes in the spiritual realm, like the occult do, but it's not really like a heaven or a hell. It's just a spiritual realm.
Well, like as I say,
you said earlier,
when it comes down to it, you look at it like this: heaven and hell was created by the Christian faith in order to control the masses. That's how that worked. However, when it becomes gods, if you worship this glass, then that's your god, and that's how it works.
Okay. Jay from the house, that's mad. Buddy, he just passed him over.
Get out of it.
I'm 100% the same. Okay. Jay's wow. Jay's but hi. Jay's but hi. Da da da. How do I lift that block? What? Okay. How do I lift that block? So,
well, first of all, you've got to realise what the block is. Is it something that's put in your mind by Christian faith or something like that? Has someone told you that what is that is evil and that type of thing? Now you'll get one or two charlatans and stuff like that who says, oh yes, you can do this, that and the other, but you have a spiritual block and for X amount of pounds, they can remove that. Yeah, I'm sure they can. But then again, at the end of the day, it's training your mind. There is no block as such. It's training yourself and your mind, bring your mind and body into harmony, you know, to work together. I mean, yeah, okay, I can wave my hand like that. That's mind and body. But it's bringing them both together, so to speak, so they work as one. When you can do that, then this block, as it's put, will go.
Okay, so...
It's training your mind to do it.
Spirit spotters. In fact, we'll get that down to it. So, what do I have a block? Okay, Owens family says something really interesting, and I can probably hit this one. I'll let you hit it. Lads, I'd like to ask you this. Why am I starting to hear things on investigations, but it sounds like they're far away?
Well, the reason for that is that, like as I say, your third eye, right? That's opening up nicely, but you still need to concentrate and come more and more and more with your third eye. It's your third eye that's hearing them, not your ears.
Okay. So as in like words, but they're really distant. Okay. So you're hearing like distant voices and they come into you sort of thing. My answer would be the exact same with that. It means that your third eye is opening up. And I know for a fact, James, you've been quite new to the whole paranormal and the spiritual stuff. You're quite still fresh to it, bless you.
Your third eye is like a flower like that. So if you imagine my hands as a flower, and that's your third eye. And gently, as you open your third eye and you train it, that flower is going to open up like that.
There you go.
That's when you've got full control of it.
So I would say, mate, with you being quite new to it, you are slowly opening your third eye because it's still quite fresh and you're really absorbing it. You're really getting involved with it. And that's helping your spiritual awakening?
It's spiritual awakening,
That's helping your spiritual awakening, mate. So I would say keep doing what you're doing because clearly it's working, and push a little harder with it. Really pursue it if you want to. Over there in the distance. Fiery Donna. What does Dad think about you having a dib box that tried to wipe me out?
It's something I wouldn't really bother with, but like as I say, with the occult, no two occultists are the same. They're really not. Now the thing is that with Christianity, it's all uniform. If someone can make use of a div box, is it div?
Dibuke,
whatever the box is, then that's fine. I mean, I've got bits and pieces, like bits of plaster or bits of whatever from places I've been, and you can use those as energies and that type of thing. What it basically has got is a huge battery. So if you need to tap into any energies, yes, you can do that.
Okay. So.
However, it's something I personally wouldn't have because I don't believe it's something not for me.
I will say quickly, we was a bit late starting the live because Dad went upstairs into my little room that you've all seen me in, my little Harry Potter hole. And Dad literally sat in the room and his attention was very drawn to the debut box. And he turned to it and went, you little bastard. And so even Dad picked up there was something not quite nice about the box there.
That box, there's something not quite nice about it. And it knew what I was and it knew what I could do to it. And I thought to myself, yeah, you just come out of that box if you dare. Because they can do. You don't trap them in that box. It's as simple as that.
So we just say the wax seals and that's all a bit.
It's just for show, really. I mean, you can just say, right, fair enough then, I've got a spirit in there. You don't trap it. It just lives in there.
Okay.
It's as simple as that.
Like a home for it, I suppose.
Yes, yeah, like a home.
All right, okay, that's
You can also use them for portals as well.
Owen's fine, but it's only happened 3 times, the hearing the voices thing.
So develop it.
There you go, mate. Develop it. Work on it. Push it.
If you can learn how to meditate and transcend and that type of thing, then go for it. Because at the end of the day, when you can open up that flower, that's your third eye opening, and you'll be able to get more and more and more. And as soon as you go down that path, it's more and more fascinating. You'll be able to understand how people passed over, and you'll be able to help them.
There you go, mate. So you can drop into, you could be like your own bailiff there. You can
basically
be like a whole spiritual bailiff. This isn't just a name for me. This is also a title. This is something that's actually known. Owen's family head mod. That's brilliant. Only happened 3 times. I think a psychic block was placed on me as a child. How do I remove it?
A psychic block, like as I say, I wouldn't say you've got a block. Like as I say, you just need to develop things. You need to bring everything in harmony. There's something called the chakra, where you got everything like in line down your spine and that type of thing. Personally, I don't use chakra, and they believe that there's something that blocking there. If you really wanted to and you still believe this, then I'm afraid to say it's not going to work for you. But if you can do something like bring your mind and body into synchronization, then there's nothing that can stop you.
There you go. I hope that helps. Clairaudience is when you hear spirits. Yeah. Gather. Cheers, Mike. I do this too alone. Bad spirit and none is there for you. One day you may get a bad spirit and none is there for you. What? I am confused.
Well, yes, it's quite right. One day you may get a bad spirit and no one's there for you, but because of what the circles I work in and that type of thing, there'll be always someone there.
This bastard will follow me around even when he's
Even when I've crossed over and we're going to come back.
He's probably going to terrorise me more then than he is now.
I'm intending to possess his wallet.
A lot of people have sent eggs and white wind seals. Thank you for the gifts, guys. We appreciate that. Jay, thank you for the answer. Okay, who founded the occult and how long has it been around?
Oh, my crikey. No one really founded the occult. It's been there straight from day one, really. You can go back as far and far as you like, but it's a case of, how can I put it? it's always been ongoing. It's older than Christianity. It's older than Judaism. It's when it first started. I mean, if you wanted to go really, really far back, I suppose in one way with the Druids, you could turn around and say that they were the first occultists or anything like that, but would you?
So I always found Druids quite interesting.
You go right far back, and I mean right far back. I mean, I'm probably going to get hung, drawn and quartered for this, but, when it comes down to it, it was even around in Jesus' time. But the trouble is that because of the bad publicity it got, I'm afraid to say the Romans used to have a crack at you.
Right, okay. Melcat 100, Miss Amy Lou. Amy Lou has liked the live 100 million times. Someone said bunny ears. This is so true. Worship a glass. I have this place with a child. Yeah, we've answered that one.
What was that?
That was the one about the psychic block. But prayers are protection against the negative, which is exactly what Dad is working with. So Donna thinks that you work with negative energy.
No.
There you go.
No, I don't. No, I don't work with negative energy. Negative energy can be around any time or anything like that. I use positive energies a lot. But if anyone's cheesed me off or anything like that, then yes, I will use negative energies to attack. It's as simple as that. I'm only defending myself. And if you're not going to defend yourself with Ken Dodd's tickling stick, are you? So basically the idea is yes, I can use negative energy to attack someone who has attacked me.
Okay, so you don't use negative energy to do what you need to do. You use the energy of the deity?
Basically, I can use the energy of the deity, yes.
Okay, cool.
The thing is, I can use negative energy on curses and hexes if I so wished, and I have done that. But that little child who was really sick, we used positive energies. The thing is that you've got to realise if you're using negative energies or anything like that, again, it's protection all the way along the line.
Okay, so that brings you back to the buttering knife.
The butter and the knife.
You could make bread with it. So they don't use negative energy as such. They use an energy.
It's in the hands of the operator.
Yeah. Pink Georgian in hospital. Miss Pink Georgine, right, in hospital. Well, I hope you recover soon, my love. KB, how can I enhance my senses so I can use it properly? Okay.
Right, what is it you want to use properly? What is it you'd like to use properly?
Okay, so we'll keep scrolling down and hopefully she gives us an answer a bit further down. No one has to employ protection for partaking in Christianity, for example.
Well, yes, they do in a way. Because when you look at it, I mean, they say the Lord's Prayer and that type of thing. Well, I'm sorry, that is a form of protection.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So yes, that is a form of protection. So when they say they don't use protection in Christianity, well, I'm sorry, there's Lord's Prayer. And I've also been to churches, Christian churches, where they've used protection mantras. So, oh Lord, protect me from the evils of such and such. Well, surely they themselves, that's a protection prayer.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Miss Amy Lou. Smashing the likes. Yeah, 100 mate, it's hard. The blocking was placed on me to stop spirit communication with me as a child. Okay. Please don't think I'm being argumentative. No, we don't think you're being argumentative, mate. We're open to points, people's opinions, because I always say everyone has a take on this. Okay. I have a take dissimilar to my dad's. Okay, we're father and son. There's some things that he does, some things I do differently, and it's like Dad says earlier, and like I will always say to you, it's your path. It's what you do with it and how you take it. You can be led, you can be shown, you can be taught, but it's what you do and how you go down it and what you come across and what's perceived as something, how you deal with that. So we don't think you're being argumentative.
No, we bring forward some questions and we will answer them.
Yeah, absolutely. Emmy's family, thank you, mate.
No problems.
So, Carrie, when you do get a bad spirit, is grounding yourself the way to keep them out?
Grounding yourself is a way of dispensing excess energy. and negativity. So no, that's not the way. As I say, when a bad spirit comes in, it's protection again. You know, that's going to back them off. Yes, you can ground yourself, because if I do a ceremony and I thought, well, but it's a bit too much here, you stand on the floor barefooted and you just let it drain out.
Okay. And would you say barefooted outside, at one with the earth, or it's just in your house? Okay.
You can do it outside if you so wish. You can do it in your house and that type of thing. It all depends. As long as you get rid of it out of your body, it's not a problem. I mean, you don't have to go around like with an earthing cable around your ankle. You don't have to do that. As long as you can feel and you can like push the energy out using your mind, the excess energy, whether it's good, whether it's bad, and you push it into the earth, it's gone.
Okay, so don't go wiring yourself up to the mains. Don't go strapping earthing cables around to the foot, around your feet and attaching them to the floor. That isn't going to work.
No, especially if it's been raining and it's cold, because you're going to come down with flu.
The block was placed on me to stop spirit communicating with me as a child. I would astral travel too. As a child, astral travel is quite common in youngsters, I think, isn't it? I think
it can also be very, very
that.
Not that
a bit younger.
I think he did, it might have done. I don't think. But I'll be honest with you, there's only 1 or 2 children I've been known that can do astral travel. Why this block's been placed on you and who's done it, I don't know. But if you see Michael at the end of it, he'll give you some details and you can contact me and I'll see what I can do.
Miss Amy Lou, please tap the screen. Guys, you need to get yourselves an auto tapper. I've got one of them and it was the best thing I've ever downloaded. I just sit there now, press play, and it auto taps 1,000 like that. Bloody awesome thing. One of the Claires. It's very hard to meditate, but once you learn, it's fantastic.
It is.
Like a whole different
The next
realm.
step up from meditation is transcending. That's the next step up. What's that?
Okay, that's a good one. Donna, if Dad went on an investigation, which he has been on a few with me, been on a couple, would a darker spirit try and make themselves more known to you to show off?
Ooh.
See, I have the opposite with this. But I'll let you answer first and I'll pop them on.
They can do, just to try and push you to see what the limits are. But normally from me, a bad spirit will turn around and say, I'm not tangling with him because I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And yes, they've got the right idea. Yes, if they come anywhere near me, and then they're on a wild ride back to wherever, you know.
So, and then that's very similar with me. If I go somewhere, if I'm called out to a property or anything like that, and it is something that means harm, does want to hurt someone who crosses the spiritual law, what I have as a spiritual law, you tend to find that the bad spirits, the person they're inflicting, they know that person's been called. And as soon as you walk through that door or you pass onto that property, they know you're there and they know what you're there to do.
Oh, wow.
And they virtually like, fuck that. Like they try back out, and then you're like, no, you've committed the crime. So obviously the spirit of the law, you've committed the crime, and now you will be sent to where you need to be.
You'll be sentenced.
Pretty much just like being a sentence in the spirit back to the abyss or wherever it needs to go. So I hope that helps there, mate. So yeah, they do try to show off, and sometimes they'll cower because they know shit's about to get real quite fast.
In some cases they can get a bit violent as well, but
yeah,
I've known that of one as well.
How do you know you have an attachment? I thought I answered this one for you a couple of weeks ago, but no, go on.
An attachment, you will feel it, you will know it and stuff like that. When things start working out for you the best way, you know you've got an attachment. So
like I said to you, when you know something's attached to you and it means you're harm, things in your life will start to go wrong. You'll have a lot of negative energy there. You know, your bloody car will break every day. You'll start to feel unwell. You'll be physically and mentally drained. You walk through into your house and you just don't want to be there. You start falling out with family. There's loads of things, and if all them things come at once, you know something's attached to you. The odd mishap, your car breaking down, you can't help. But if it all comes at bloody once, like in the space of a week, everything just comes at you and smashes the crap out of you. you kind of got to know that, that there's something going on there. Something's not the norm as it would be.
And that's when your protection ceremonies come in.
And that's when you need your protection. So I hope that answers that for you, Kerry. Sorry for all the questions. I'm so intrigued. No, well, that's cool, man. Absolutely cool. It's been amazing, guys. Question time with Elle. Melcat, really interesting. I know I'm terrible. I am just browsing down you all. I'm glad I'm not the only one asking questions. No, we like questions.
You can ask questions. Yeah. We'll answer them best way we can.
We like to give... I need answers. I have headphones on and totally zoned into this. Usually my attention span is crap. No, it's good. It's good. And I hope you're all taking something from it. So occult deities are not negative or bad.
No, they're not.
There you go. So no, mate, they're not. They're not bad. And I think that's the thing. What we said earlier is the deities from the occult are perceived from the Christian realm and from the Hollywood media is that they are bad. They are. Oh, it's the big bad occult man from wherever, and he's here to put an X on me and kick my ass. No, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It's a bit like any religion. There's good and bad. You look at Christianity, and we keep using Christianity because it's the more common, the more we're all known.
Well, if you think about it, right, when it comes to negativity and that type of thing, there's more negativity in the Christian faith than there is in the occult faith.
Well, yeah. You look at how many times the Christian faith has created war. And there's been wars. Yeah. How many wars has there been with the occult?
Oh, none.
Well, there you go. So that breaks that. Head mod wouldn't have guessed. Amy Lou smashing the likes. I was about to ask that. Okay, here we go. So Melcat 1. What's the best protection for your children if someone is sending them dark magic? Okay.
The best protection is you can find them usually on Pinterest or something like that. You can find them on there. But the best way to do it is you find the basic on Pinterest and then you adapt it how you see it. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, if there's something wandering around in your house, it needs outing. If there's any dark energies in there, again, that needs eliminating. It's as simple as that.
So you pretty much say if someone sent dark magic...
If someone sent dark magic,
it needs
to be gone.
Yeah.
And the best way to do it is, I'm a crafty little sod because someone sent dark energies against me once, and I thought to myself, oh, you prat. And I just bounced it back. Now, because they never went by the principle of protection, they got the full force of their own spell. It's as simple as that. And there's me sat there thinking to myself, I know who sent that now, don't I?
Right, so what you said there is someone sent you something, you sent it, return to sender with no inflict on yourself, and then they got the full force. They got the full force of their own might.
Yeah.
And then when you saw that person become physically ill or something physically happened, you went, you bastard, it was you that sent it, was it?
Exactly.
So it's a good identifier there that,
So when they sent it to me, and I thought to myself, oh, what's going on here then, stuff like that, because things weren't working out for me. Not as bad. And when I finally figured it out, I thought, right, I'm sending it back. So I did the Elvis Presley number, didn't I? Return to sender. And as I'm walking down the street, this person's looking more weathered, so to speak.
I think I know that is as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know that.
And basically they're going a bit up here, and I'm not taking the mick out of mental illness, please don't do that, but they're going a bit do-wappy up here, and I'm thinking to myself, it was you.
Yeah. What I would say there, Melcat 1, if the magic has already been sent, if the hex has already been placed, then it's there.
It can be dispelled though.
But it can be removed. So you can't protect yourself now you've been open and taken it. You would be trapping it in, to be fair, if you was to do protection now. You'd be putting it around it. What I would say is that you need to get someone in to remove it and then put your protection around your property to protect your kids. Wow. Well, yeah, there you go. Sense not just bad things, but to communicate. Okay. They use the cross, holy water, St. Christopher's, etc. Okay, I'd like to know what has been with me from a child as they move with me wherever I move house. So Trixie, that sounds like you've got an attachment. That sounds like it's something that's attached to you. I would, if it was me, I don't know about you, I would go speak to a medium or someone who can come in and identify what is attached to you, what has definitely got you trapped. And then, again, you need to look at having it removed. So someone coming in and taking that away, that bad entity, energy, whatever it may be, have it taken away. And then you need to work on your protection. Is that about right?
That's about right, yeah.
So even though we've got two very dissimilar paths, there's still very similar practices, just different ways and different things we preach to.
Mike may use one way of protection, but I'll use another way. But basically, it gets the job done.
Yeah. I have no bias one way or another, so I'm asking this side of things. No, that's cool. That's cool. We welcome other opinions and views. All right. Yeah. Do some parents introduce their children into the occult at a young age?
They shouldn't really.
Yeah, some do, don't they?
I mean, it's a bit like the Christian faith. You know, we're off to church, you're coming with us. And they get no choice. Personally, I wouldn't teach anyone or show anyone the occult until they're at least 21. That's how strong things go. As for children taking up the occult, I would really dissuade them until they hit that age, because at the end of the day, they're very impressionable. They're very I mean, the worst film I think for actually getting kids into magic and that type of thing, for want of a better word, was the Harry Potter films. You know, everyone thought at the end of the day that they could mend glasses, they could go Esperanto and Gula, and this would happen and that would happen. Right? It comes down to it where films can be very, very impressionable, and especially at a young age. So how many kids thought, oh, I'm going to get the Harry Potter cloak, I'm going to get the glasses and the wand, and I'm going to start casting all these spells? Well, no, it doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. But unfortunately, they might accidentally stumble on something and bring something through.
Yeah, and I know exactly where you're going with that, El, because there is, I won't name drop or anything, but there is people out there on TikTok who are into the occult, and I know exactly who you're on about, if it's who I think you're on about, and I do watch their lives, but I do not 100% agree that there's children involved in what they do, but that is down to their path, and I think if they protect their children properly and their right ceremonious way, their children should really be fine. But again, it's down to the operator, the person in charge, and how they do it. But I think I know who you're on about there with not name.
The thing is I've got 4 grandchildren, and if one of them come up to me and turn around and says, I want to learn what you're learning, the answer would be not a chance until you reach 21 and you understand it.
It's not a force to be reckoned with.
It isn't.
Head mod, absolutely. He's fab. Don't, because you'll not get out the door. Carry on like that, Kerry. So, Spirit spotters. Spirit played me as a child, and Mum sitting with me quieted them. That's why I believe a block was. Okay, you might have to just dig a little deeper at that Spirit spotters, so I can just. Can you make that a bit more instructive, bit more instruction there? This has been very, very informative. I hope it has. Excellent, thank you. I use Auto Tapper. Auto Tapper's a win. Child astral travel. How many people in chat can remember floating down the stairs? I don't think I ever floated down the stairs. I do remember as a kid. I do remember as a child. It was when we lived in Acacia Avenue.
Yeah.
We'd not long moved in. I remember dreaming. And I walked down the stairs and I walked into the kitchen and I went around the kitchen through the dining room, and I remember it as plain as day. At this point, looking back on it, I still thinking it was me, and I come back up the stairs, back into my bedroom, and it wasn't until the penny dropped that I saw myself still laying in bed, and I went, what the fuck is going on here? And at that point I woke up and I looked up and I went, oh, it must have just been a dream. Now the more and more I look back on it as a kid, I go, fuck me, I think I was actually, there's a name for it, isn't there? It is astral travel, but there's also another name where you do it in your sleep. I can't remember.
Subconsciousness.
Yeah, could be. There's a proper name where you can out of body experience.
Out of body experience.
Out of body experience. And I think that's what I did when I was a child. I must have done it 2 or 3 times. But the moment I saw myself, did I come back round and wake back up, and it was just like it was a dream. The more and more I do now, the more and more I look back on it and go, actually, maybe there was something more in that. And it was weird. Really weird. Because what I used to do, even if I thought I was dreaming, when you used to go up to the stairs into my bedroom in Acacia Avenue, you used to have to go past Dad's bedroom. I would still creep past on my tippy toes and know where all the creaky floorboards were. So I'd still avoid them, knowing, that to avoid them floorboards. But it wasn't till I walked back through the door did I realise that I saw myself. Did I wake up? So I think I have had an out of body experience a few times, but I don't think I've floated down the stairs. I remember it's plain as day, like I was walking down the stairs. It just felt like a normal day, like we're here sat now. But it wasn't until I looked at myself did I click on that actually, shit, and then I woke up. But I never really thought anything of it. I have auto tapper too. Bed and making... No, just remember falling out of bed and making myself jump. Make you fall out of bed now and make yourself jump. You did love, or it did really. Donna Kebab has said hello.
Hiya.
Hello. Is deja vu the third eye also? Ooh, I like that.
That one's a hard one to explain, but it could be.
Is there an answer to
It
deja
is and
vu?
it isn't in a way. Deja vu it's a different kettle of fish, but it does go along the same lines, I suppose.
So I've always found deja vu really interesting, but I've never been able to find an answer for deja vu, like at all. Like where you're walking through the middle of Lincoln, let's say, which is about 15, 20 minutes drive from where I live, and you're walking through Lincoln, you stop, you go, fucking hang on, I've done this before. Well, I probably have walked through Lincoln half a dozen times before, but at that time in that place, there's a woman there with a spotty bag, and I remember her. And then the woman to the right to me, she's got a dress on. The bloke in front of me is wearing a really nice suit, and he's walking directly at me. And in a minute, I'm going to bounce off him because he's not going to move because he's a twat. Right, that's the sort of deja vu I've had. But then a lot of people have a very similar deja vu where they've walked the exact same path, and they go, "Oh, I've had deja vu." I don't think there's an answer for deja vu, and I don't. If I'm honest, I don't think there ever will be, because to know the answer of deja vu, I suppose you had to have been there.
Been there and done it.
To been there and done it, to have re-got the answer as to what's going on. It was a strange one, I like that. That's a good question. Mike, I love your dad. I want to ask him everything.
You can ask me what you can.
Agreed, Mike's dad. Me too. It's being sent. Okay, it's being sent. I love reflecting. Reflection is good. I am a big person of reflecting. I do a lot of reflecting now because the job I do now as a manager, I have to do a lot of reflection. And I use reflection in my job, and I also use reflection in spiritual now. And I'd say my job influenced more reflection than anything. I send it back with love to Alison. So when she sends something back, so when you're sent something bad, and you send it bad back, but maybe twice as worse. Alison's a bit of a bugger because she'll receive it with hate, but send it back with love, and then go, there you go.
Well, that's
typical of you.
That's a white witch's way of doing things, but my way is you've sent me badness, you're gonna get it back tenfold. End of story.
Yeah. Els put, do you have your own church structure where you all meet, or I know it's not, or it's not church?
How can I put it? There are some people that will join covens and that type of thing. Well, fine if they want to join covens and that type of thing. That's fine. As for me, I'm a solo operator. I'm a solo practitioner. It's as simple as that. And where they turn around and the Christian faith turns around and says, we'll all meet in this church, so God can be with us all. Well, I'm sorry, where 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there I shall be. But, when it comes down to it, if people want to join covens, then fine, let them do it. I mean, there's a coven in Gainsborough. I know of them. I know 1 or 2 of them. They've asked me to join, but the answer is no. So to answer your question, I personally don't go to a church. I personally don't join a coven and stuff like that. But I know people who have been in them and are in them.
So I will say one thing on the top of that as well. Where you all see them with big black spiky hoods all stood around a fire and chanting, I think that's very much Hollywood, isn't it?
That's very much Hollywood.
So I think that on top of that, I'll just add to that the whole big black cloaks and the robes and the fire and them all dancing around it. And,
not exactly.
Oi! Hey! You two. Energy just changed in this room. Oh, that's just shit me up, Beaver Ivy. It did, didn't it? Something just really weird happened there. I'm not chanting to the person and go, yeah, we are again. I'll shut my fucking mouth. Yeah, so we'll go from there. Moving topic. Thank you, Melcat. Dogs just went mental because I started messing around. That's me being told not to take piss. I've always done protection, but I know it's still being sent. Thank you, Mike. That resonates and answer my question about the block. Okay. Do you agree taking crystals on an investigation is a bad idea because they contain energy?
Well, basically, at the end of the day, people will take what they want to take. I mean, if I go on investigations myself, and there's machines that I use, you know, and let's be honest with you, they've got energies within them. So, at the end of the day, people will take what they want to take on these investigations. The Reverend Allah, he takes himself.
He only needs to take himself.
He only needs to take himself. That's it. And he's better than any machine that these ghost hunters have.
Ooh, you dirty word there.
Sorry,
Hunter.
investigators have, that the spiritual investigators have. He's better than any of that stuff. So, if you want to take a crystal with you, then make sure you use it for the right reasons.
There you go. And if you're thinking about if it's that crystal I gifted you that I blessed, there will be a lot of protection energy around that crystal. That if you believe in what I did to it, you will know that will keep you safe. Miss Tracy said good evening. That's the answer I was looking for, thank you. It feels right, okay. A medium will trap it in one room and then give it a chance to go to the light or be removed, okay.
So they would have you believe.
Vulnerability being a child is very important, yeah. I grew up on Charmed, not Harry Potter. Poor you.
Same difference.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I remember Buffy. Love Charmed. I did it accidentally as a 12-year-old and was shocked I never sent bad again. So I think Alison's saying there she sent bad energy as a 12-year-old. Wow, is a 12-year-old sending bad energy?
It's possible.
It's doable. And was so shocked I never sent bad again. Wow. Still got all the DVDs. Oh wow. Me. I scared the hell out of my parents as a kid. Told them things that freaked them out. James put evening all. Hi Jane. Sorry, we are just going back through the comments because we're trying to get everyone's questions. So I'll not see all your live comments as we go. Astral projection. Okay, I saw a TikTok asking the stairs question. That was the first time I knew of others doing the same. Okay, floating down the stairs, yeah. Yes, the same. That's from Fiery Donna. Any news on the latest American import? No, you got it into the UK. Not me. Oh, have you got a new American import? Oh, Mandalorian Wolf is next to Pizza Barry. You know the guy who owns... Where I got your book from?
Yeah.
That Necro Magic Box book, yeah. He's asked, have you got any news on your new import? As a kid, I told my mates I could fly, was absolutely adamant, even told them to ask my mum. Is that because she was astral projecting? I believe deja vu is due to astral projection, fair play. Deja vu freaks me out. Past life, I think. So that's where they are. We are catching up slowly. There is a theory on deja vu simply being one side of the brain slightly behind the other in that moment. Ooh, I've not read that. I might look that up. Dog does not agree with Mike. Yeah, do you notice how I kind of like had a little bit of a Larry jiggity moment, and then it all just turned a bit like, yeah, don't take
You see,
the piss.
if you're talking about this type of thing and you're discussing it, you've got to go very, very careful because they do listen and they do watch.
So we are
and
being
if you,
watched.
so we are being watched, yeah. At the end of the day, and they do listen. The thing is that if you say something or do something they don't like, then they're going to take on.
Yeah, and animals see a lot more than it's woke the box up. No, I'm not woke the box up. Buffy is the best, and Angel. What are the main principles of the occult?
Ooh. The main principles of the occult.
Good question.
A very good question. The main principles of the occult is believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. That is the main thing. Believe in yourself.
Okay.
If you can believe in yourself, you can achieve most things. And again, go by the rules, which is, I know I shouldn't really say rules, but protection.
Is there any other rules other than protection, or is it quite?
Like as I say, I suppose one of the others is do unto others as you would have others do to you, I suppose, which comes from Christianity, or did they nick it from us?
Oh yeah.
So it's a case of, I mean, we take a fair bit from other faiths and that type of thing. It's not all what people would deem, and these are ignoramuses, and so it's not all devil worship, because no, there isn't. You know, it's not there. It's as simple as that. There's no devil worship or anything like that. But to be honest with you, what was the question again? Sorry.
What are the main principles of the occult?
Yeah, the main principles is believe in yourself, and of course your protection as well. They're your main principles.
So there's not a lot of, I suppose you're looking there for like laws and rules.
Not so much as laws and rules, more like guidelines to help you. So
with the occult, my understanding, and it's very much been picked up on for tonight for me, so I'll break it down a little bit for you, is there isn't so much as laws and rules and principles to instruct you of what you should and shouldn't do. It's more of like your own path, and take of it as you will, and learn from it.
And you're responsible for your own actions.
Yeah. So it's not so much like a law or a guideline or a principle as such to follow. It's what you make of it, what you do with it, and how you preach it. Because you'll preach.
I won't say preach it as such, but how you inform people and how to help them better themselves.
There you go, Mandalorian Wolf. Evening, guys. Neil from Eternal Goth here. Guys,
Hi, Neil.
If you want any things like stones or anything like that, I'm just going to pin this comment. Neil is from Eternal Goth. It's a little store inside of Gainsborough. He does all sorts of cool little stuff. I think it's fun. I love going in there, to be fair, and just having a little. I'll always come out with something. Always, even if it's just like a little candle box set or a little statue or something. I will say your clothesline, Neil, needs to be more for us fat people, because I like the look of the clothes upstairs, but they're all like small and medium, not for super fatty me.
On another note from Neil and that Eternal Goth, that if you go there and you want a certain part and you want a certain bit for the occult and stuff like that, ask Neil. He has a very good chance of getting it. There's a candle burner I got from Eternal Goth, and it sits on my altar. In fact, there's 3 others in circulation that I got from Eternal Goth. They are well worth the money.
There you go. So guys, Neil from Eternal Goth there, the Mandalorian Wolf. He runs a little shopping games, but does all the little bits and bobs to do with the cult. Yeah. He has some stuff in glass cabinets as well.
He does.
I can't remember what it was, but they look really interesting. And I am due a trip into your little shop at some point soon. It was only a couple of weeks I was last in. Leg with a pin. Okay, next day she came into school with a note to excuse her from PE because of pains in her leg. Okay. So I think someone's done a doll there and caused someone some harm.
If you want to contact Mike later and give him some details, then we can go through it and we'll possibly sort it out for you.
Else put, you're led to believe through the occult is all about worshipping the devil. This is actually enlightening. So yeah, you are led to believe the occult's to do with the devil.
Again, that comes down to Christianity. Yeah, it comes down to Christianity, because they don't want to lose their money. I mean, when it comes down to the faith and stuff like that of Christianity, they pass around the collecting plate, and you're going to put your money in there and stuff like that. Now with the occult, it's totally different. You can ask for a ceremony to be done, and yes, I can do it. Then you say, oh, here's 20 quid for doing it. I'll just look at you going out and say, well, what am I meant to do with that?
Yeah, so you can't take gifts and stuff, can you?
Will not take money because they can't. The best thing you can do, they will say to you, right, okay, fair enough then. You go out, you get this, that and the other, and you give it to the planet, you pay it back. So the occultist will not take money.
They're actually paying your homage. The occultist will advise you, won't take your penny off you, but he will tell you what to do. And go pay your homage to the tree, the ground, the earth, and whatever.
Go pay your dues that way. Yeah.
There you go, mate. Mandalorian Wolf, are you online? Mandalorian Wolf following. We don't know if he is online. eternalgoth.co.uk. Let me just pin that one for you guys. Boom, there's Neil's pin. If you want to go to eternalgoth.co.uk, go hit him up, go get some bits and bobs. I want some off the back of this, Neil. I'm joking. Okay. Did Dad have any spirituality before learning all about the occult? And if so, did it help? Oh, I'm going to go grab a drink. I feel like you've got a long answer for that, because that's always been it. Spirituality has always been in our life.
It kind of went back from a long, long time ago when I was in Hull. And I was really, really sick, really poorly. And my dad, he was in the Air Force at the time, and he goes, I'll have to call Dr. Hardy. So Dr. Hardy came out and was examining me. And but before that, I'd got up in my cot because I was only a young'un at the time, and my granddad was there. And I was talking to my granddad. And it was, yes, granddad, no, granddad, and stuff like that. All right, good night, granddad. And I went to sleep. Now, Dr. Hardy came out and examined me, and he says, well, there's nothing wrong with him.
Should have a nap in
there has been.
Little altar lit up.
He says, there has been, but it's not there anymore. And that was my first, suppose, thingy of the occult. But something happened with my mum. I'm not going to go into details at this precise moment. And
I think some people already know roughly.
That was pretty horrific. And that was the bad side of the occult I did see. Bad side of voodoo and that type of thing. And at an early age, when you're about 5 or 6, that's pretty traumatic. That is very traumatic. So, has it always been there? Well, it's always been in my life. And when I tried to block it out by becoming a Christian, it was always in the background of my mind. It was always there, no matter how hard I tried. But no, from an early age I've been able to do certain things. Simple as that. And it's also gone into the family. My mum, she didn't need an altar or anything like that. She really didn't. All she had to do was speak it and basically snacks. Right.
Get your drinks and your snacks. If you know, you know.
So so it's always been in the family. My sister, she's a white witch.
I thought she was just a witch. No, I'm joking. I love my auntie Cheryl. She's alright.
She's a white witch. My brother, he won't have anything to do with it. He won't even have anything to do with Christianity. But on my mum's side, there's there's a cousin of mine. She's gone into that type of thing. I eventually went into it. Mike's gone into it, that type of thing. So it does follow down the line. Now, whether any of my grandkids will follow it or not, I don't know.
I think one of them will. Because they're quite taken with it. Mandalorian thanks. Sorry for the little hijack of the thread. No, cool, mate. Neil, it's fine. I'll always put people your way, mate, because what you've got for sale in the shop is genuine, is proper decent stuff. So, hey guys, it is worth heading over to Mandalorian Wolf stuff. Joe from YGG, hi Mike and Mike's dad.
I do.
I'll be in your shop tomorrow. For fuck's sake, Mike. Yeah, I know. Red flag to a bull. It's like a wink, nudge. I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't help myself. Go drink some snacks. There's a TikToker out there at the minute, and he's a massive fraud. like massive fraud.
Yeah,
Like, he takes the piss, and he's tried bullying all the paranormal investigation teams. Even me, he's had a pop at me. And I've told him to on his bike, pretty much.
Now, basically, what I could do if I wanted to take umbrage and stuff like that, I could say, right, Pratt, you're picking this up and stuff like that. I'm firing some bad energy. I could even send a nasty spirit round there to kick hell out of him. But
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
Until he has a go at me, then I'll take umbrage.
Yeah. Let's be nice, because that, to be fair, that was one of my thoughts when he was trying to pick up on me and take the piss out of walkie-talkies and stuff. I was just going to contact Dad, and I've dealt with it. But then I thought, no, be this bigger man, be the spiritual, the Christian you are, and just pity the person. And God will forgive him at some point, I'm sure. I feel like I should let others ask questions. Nah, you're all right.
If you've got questions, ask them.
Does he post out, please? I don't know if he does, mate. Let not eat. I'm trying to ask a question about a particular person, but keeps getting filtered, I think. Okay. Oh, is it? Hang on, I think I saw that. You said something. Did you say something about Santa? Ask it again, because I'm just strolling through. I think I saw it. I think Neil does post out, if I'm honest. And he's put, no, let's do that. And I'm like, no, be the big person. I'm sure he said Mike's dad. No, he didn't. Poor Helmet. He's called Helmet. Does occultism also believe in evolution? Wow!
It's a hard one. That's down to the personal preference. That's down to the personal preference, really, I suppose. But as for me, well, things evolve. That's all I can really say on that one.
Things evolve.
You see, basically, there's no set guidelines with the occult, right? It's not like the Bible, where Genesis says this happened, that's the other happened. With the occult, you make your own mind up and that type of thing, so there you go.
There you go. That's a good question, that, Jim. Alright, mine. Mandalorian War of Your Dad is bang funny. Donna, pop the question up again. I was going to ask about evolution. Oh wow, making my brain work. Oh, we're right. We've made it down to the bottom of the comments. So any question that comes in now is an actively live comment. So Donna, pop your question in again about Santa. We've got to call him Santa, pretty much. Beelzebub as we know him, or whatever other name you want to give him.
What's it say?
It was pinned a second ago. Is that when I was going to get a drink and eat cream eggs? I don't even remember what to pin that comment again for me. There you go. No, before that one.
What's what?
Oh, Danny has put, what is a poltergeist?
A poltergeist is a noisy spirit,
Nosy. More than likely nosy.
A noisy spirit and that type of thing, and basically it does have the energy to move things. That's a poltergeist for you. However, they can be getting quite nasty, and sometimes they do need to be given the weight to show where the door is.
There we go. What about Beelzebub? Where does he fit into this? I think the real name is filtered. Okay.
To be honest with you, that like as I say, when it comes down to it, the Christians have got to create something in order to get control. So they created these type of things.
So that's where he fits into it. As Occult Dad explained earlier, how can I say it? It's what you take of it, but the occult doesn't believe in a heaven and hell as such. So if they don't believe in a heaven and hell, there's no real such thing as... there's a Satan. I suppose there's a Satan and a Jesus, but...
Well, you see, Jesus Christ did exist. I did this through history and that type of thing, but his name wasn't Jesus Christ. His name wasn't Jesus, if the truth is known, because if you have a look back in history, there's no J in the Jewish alphabet.
See, I saw a philosopher. I have seen that there's no J in the Jewish alphabet.
And the other thing is that, was Jesus the Son of God and that type of thing? Well, was he? If you want to believe that, that's fine. I believe that Jesus was a fantastic magician and what he could do. You know, he was one of the best occultists we ever had.
So this was something I said to you all not so long ago. In fact, it was the other night
for that, but who cares?
when we was on about voodoo, and we was on about the breaking of bread and stuff like that, and we was on about Jesus, and we only mentioned this the other night, guys. We mentioned that actually, was it the breaking of bread and blah blah blah, or was it actually Jesus performing magic to perform all this bread, turn the water to wine? Was that magic, and was that him showing off?
Well, basically, at the end of the day, you know, I'm not saying I can do that. By crikey, if I could turn water into wine, by crikey, I'd be pissed out of my mind most of the nights. But when it comes down to it, right, he could do this type of thing, right? He was the son of God, so allegedly, yeah? He doesn't get any criticism or whatchamacallit for it. We do anything like that, and we're the evil guys. Even though that the ceremonies that we've possibly cast to help someone, you know, get rid of their negativity or prolong their life just that little bit longer, and we're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Where does it fit in?
It's because she named him begin with a J. Elspot, my mum tried to get me christened twice. Was always ill though, so maybe not. So maybe God didn't want me.
Don't worry, the occult will always want you, love.
Annie from the Owens family. Mike, your dad is so interesting. I'm glad you think so. I had to grow up with him. Tell us what. This is interesting. So this relates back to what I said earlier about voodoo and the relation. Tell us what you think about voodoo being used in Christianity.
Well, basically, it came from Christianity, really. I've not known the Christian faith to go for voodoo or anything like that. They see it as a harmful thing, but if you...
It fucking came from.
Yeah, but what they don't tell you, and we will tell you the truth, and it's as simple as that, is that voodoo did come from Catholicism. It's a little off branch.
There you go. And I didn't even tell him that. So what makes that quite interesting there is that the other night we was looking at voodoo, and we realised that it was once known as voodoo, not voodoo.
Hoodoo.
Hoodoo? What, with a V?
No, hoodoo, that's the other version of it.
No, it didn't mention anything about hoodoo. It said voodoo and voodoo. And it was from the entrapment of slaves. Now, the entrapment of slaves were obviously African, as obviously that was a big thing back then, the slave trade. And because they were preaching voodoo, for anyone who wasn't in the live the other night, they was forcefully Catholically christened. Mm-hmm. Now, when they was forcefully Catholically christened, that's like me coming out and christening you even though you don't want it, So you still follow your faith. So what they did was took that and said, thank you very much for the christening. Now we're going to adapt that and call it voodoo. So it went from voodoo to voodoo. And then that's where the Christianity, they kind of forced Christianity into voodoo. Now, like that said, Christianity won't tell you, oh, you know, we've got involvements with voodoo, whereas voodoo, the occult and everything else, which obviously I only learnt the other night with you guys, will happily say, yeah, we've got a lot to do with Christianity. We don't care what they say. They forcefully christened us and then we just adapted it a little bit. So, yeah, again, it's a bit like Christianity being a bit of a bully there, isn't it? Like, it's forcefully christening someone, that's wrong.
This is the one thing I don't get right, is if we get this imaginary man and he does good all his time, uses his car to take people to hospital, cuts the lawn for people who can't do it, is a generally brilliant bloke and stuff like that, never does harm to anyone, goes to the shops for people in the pissing rain and that type of thing, right? But he's not a Christian. He's not a Christian. He doesn't believe in God, Jesus Christ or anything. Now, the way it works with Christianity, if you don't believe in Jesus or anything like that, right, you're going to hell. But hang on a minute, this guy's done nothing wrong in his life. He's been the perfect guy, right, he can be. But because he doesn't believe in God or Jesus Christ, he's going to hell. Where's the justice in that? There isn't any.
Yeah, I can take that. That's, fair play. Mandalorian Wolf, Eternal Goth. For the viewers, was Crowley legit or a crank in his beliefs with his viewers in the occult? Oh!
He was legit. And some of the books that he has wrote and I have followed, to be honest with you, is full blown. You know, I've followed quite a lot of his teachings and that type of thing. Crowley was one heck of a, what I call it. Okay, I don't agree with him taking drugs, which is what he did do, but that was his way of doing things. There is one book I would recommend that anyone read, but you only ever read it once. If you don't get it by then, Book of the Law.
Yeah.
If
I've
you
still
don't,
not read that.
basically, you only ever read it once. If you don't get it after the first time, it's not for you. But that's the book to start off with. Book of the Law.
Aleister Crowley. There's a cultist person's opinion on Mr. Crowley in his books. It was very genuine. Mike, can I ask why you became ordained and not an occult? Okay, so at the time I was looking into things like Christianity and ordination and going the route I went down. I believed at that time the occult was Satanism, of which I explained earlier, of which I had to apologise to that because I thought he was preaching to Satan and dancing around fires and shit like that. Had massive things up, massive flags up in the dining room, and I'd walk in and go, fuck that, and walk straight back out the bedroom, out that room. So that's the way I went. Because I was like, I am being the opposite of that. He's into all that. I'm off to be a good lad. I'm off to go preach to God, and there needs to be some Jesus in this because this guy's preaching to Beelzebub. So I was like, I'm not going down there. It wasn't till I realised what the occult actually was about, what Baphomet was about. Did I learn and then go, oh, fucking hell, hang on a minute, I was a bit wrong. So Jem, that's probably why the way I went because he scared me that way without explaining it. I was. But then again,
at that time you wouldn't listen to what I had to say anyway.
No, because it was all black and scary, so I ran away. Good question. So yeah, that is exactly why the way I went the way I did. Does he have a spare room by any chance? Yeah, he's got his preaching room.
Yeah, I've got the occult room.
You can sleep in there, mate.
We might have to share with a few deities, but there you go.
But is Satanism just a branch of occultism? The reality is different to the way it is portrayed.
Right. Satanism is actually praying to a deity called Satan. That's actually that type of thing. It's very deep and very dark. But then again, do you believe that Satan exists? For me, no.
There you go. In a nutshell. Mike, can your dad adopt me, please? No, because that would make you my sister, weirdly. Amy Lou, keep tapping. Face out, are you with Den Boy? No, he's not welcome.
Don't know who he is.
You don't want to. Never christened any of my girls. Wanted them to choose themselves. Absolutely. You should have forced them into religion. That's why I never had mine
christened. At the end of the day, I was going to, but then again, I thought to myself, well, later on in life, if he wants to go for christening, let him do it.
Spirit spouse, that's a good one. Babies are christened before they can consent. Ooh, yeah, that's supposed they are.
They are.
They're like forced into religion.
They are. I've known this, like as I say, where, and I'm not going to mention the name of the church, but it's one over the bypass in Gainsborough. They've changed the name about 3 times to this, but I remember seeing one lad outside who I knew quite well and was crying his eyes out, and I says, what's wrong? And he turned around to me and he says, I've got to go in there. I says, well, what's so bad about that? He says, I don't want to, I don't believe in it. But because his mum and dad were Christians, he had to be one. And that's wrong. The occult teaches you if you want to learn it, but it has to be your decision. No one can force you to be an occultist. No one can force you to do many other things, in the occult. It's got to be your decision. If there's a certain ceremony you don't like, then fair enough, you don't do it. If there's a certain principle in the occult that you don't like, fine, don't go with it. With Christianity, you will do that. You will do as I say and that type of thing.
I don't know.
And you will get fleeced when the collection plate comes round. The occult teaches different things.
Okay. Mod drop was a cheeky follow. Okay, but doesn't hoodoo belong to a specific cultural lineage and it's authentical to appropriate?
No. It started off like that way, but anyone now can basically learn it.
Mandalorians come to the dark side. We have cookies.
Hey, that's my saying.
FA17 Southport. Everybody get your drinks and snacks. I get it. I like that. I get that. Very well said. Someone's put, Mandalorian Wolf, I'm on my way. Does your dad... Oh, okay. No, he hasn't got a spare room, Kerry. You're not living at my dad's house. Why not believe Satan exists when you believe in other deities? Okay, so why not believe in Satan exists when you believe in other deities?
Well, if you believe in Satan, if you basically... how can I put it? If you believe in Satan, then you've got to believe in heaven and hell.
Yeah.
So
you don't believe in heaven
and I don't believe in heaven and hell. So basically, the Lord and the master of hell is Satan. But these spirits have been here, these deities have been here for years upon years upon years before the earth even started.
See? So they don't believe in heaven and hell, whereas I do. For now. I believe that when I pass something over, I pass it to the abyss. And then Jesus is to then the law and is a judge and makes a run of where they go.
You see, if he does something,
they believe in Rome.
Yeah. If he gets rid of an evil spirit, he believes he's probably sent it to hell, right? We believe that when we get rid of an evil energy, it dissipates. That's it. It's gone, dissipated. We've earthed it. Goodbye. Finished with. Done.
Oh,
like a battery. You've used the battery. You toss it out. Simple as that. The energy is expelled. Goodbye.
That's an interesting take, especially if you use a battery as the understanding, because a battery doesn't last forever, and eventually it does run out. So, and to say that spirits are energies, we all know spirits are energies. So that's another interesting take on it. I was christened, but don't believe. So that's why we've never done our kids.
See, basically, at the end of the day, if you're being christened, the part of the christening is the belief that you have. So, I'm christened, I'm going to heaven and stuff like that. Well, you would like to believe that? Well, fine, believe it. No problems. But if you think, well, I'm christened and it's a load of cobblers, then fine, it's a load of cobblers. It's your personal intake on things.
Mm-hmm. Let's have a look. Like many churches, won't marry you if you're not christened.
It's
Catholics,
quite right.
mainly.
Yeah, it's quite right.
LFG Paranormal, let's fucking go. Many churches isn't every church. No, that's true. Boring. Okay, thank you. Interesting. Welcome. Spirits. Energy can't be destroyed.
Energy can be dissipated. Yes, it can.
So it can be dissipated, but it can't be destroyed.
Well, it's a bit like you can always change the shape of something as well. But like as I say, if you go back to the battery, that battery will we can dissipate that energy. It's as simple as that. Get rid of it. Gone. Finished with.
Okay. And Donna's put each...
It's matter you can't destroy.
There you go. So matter you can't destroy, but energy you can dissipate. Each answer gives so many more questions. How many times are we going to end up doing this live?
I don't know.
I know I'm not going to heaven. Fair enough. I'm 42 and was just what everyone did. Okay. You might have to put that through again, Jay. Hi, Starlight. Once a week, maybe. Has your dad had any bad experiences while being in the occult?
Yes, one or two.
Okay.
At the end of the day, when that prat fired one at me, he tried candle magic against me, and I thought, well, something's not very quite right here. And as soon as I worked out what it was, it got bounced back. It's as simple as that. One time, yes, I did forget carelessly when I was new into it to do the protection ceremony, and there was a bit of bad energy. And as soon as I'd got hold of Ray and told him everything, he says, right, immediately do this. So I went down that. That's it, finished with.
Okay. How did you know he'd done it?
How did I know he'd done it? Well, to start off, I didn't know he'd done it. I had no idea who'd sent it. But when the things have started happening to me, and I'm thinking to myself, hang on a minute, something's not quite right here. So you do a ceremony to find out what's happening. Aha! So that's when I bounced it back. I thought, right, you can have this back, the Elvis Presley number, return to sender. And as soon as I saw him out on the street and I got reports about what was happening to him and stuff like that, I thought, you're the prat who sent it.
There you go. So that was identified because all of a sudden, when it did bounce back to him, it actually sent the sender originally nuts. So yeah.
Well, this is how bad it's got for this guy, right? This guy honestly thinks that he has got a spaceship above Earth, right? This is how nuts he's gone because of what happened, right? He reckons it's above Earth. It's 1,750 miles long by 532 miles high by 186 miles wide. That's one hell of a spaceship. That's bigger than the Battlestar Galactica.
That's a big old ship.
Anyway, he believes, and he did put this in his window actually, and sorry for laughing.
Spirit spars. No night, mate.
No, but I'm sorry for laughing and stuff like that, but it's so funny that people was to meet on the corner next to the TSB bank. They was going to be beamed up into their cabins, beam me up with Scotty, and then there was going to go on a 3-day trip to his planet. And he actually believed that. Now, that didn't come in until I fired it back. And now he actually believes a lot more of that type of thing. So, yeah, let him believe it.
Okay, let's go back. So, Kerry's put, he must have sent a strong one to you to get it back that bad. So, do you think he sent something really fucking bad to you? Because if you didn't have protection or bounce it back, do you think it would have inflicted you that same way? Something quite...
It wouldn't have inflicted me the same way. You see, at the end of the day, it all depends on the ceremony itself. It's kind of, do you wish physical harm, do you wish mental harm, and that type of thing. Well, I knew he smoked cannabis anyway, or weed and stuff like that. So I just aimed it at that one and just sent his mind into overload.
Okay. Elspeth, how did you find a head practitioner to speak to about being interested? So the head practitioner for us is actually family.
It's actually family.
He's my great uncle, my dad's uncle on my grandma's side. So he's actually a relation, and adopted him into it. He must have a strong... Can it come back tenfold to you if you don't do return to sender properly? So if you don't do the return to sender, as we call it at the minute, the protection properly, can it come back to you? Or will it go through that protection and be like, well, you haven't done it properly, so I'm going to inflict you anyway?
Yes, it can do.
Right, okay.
Quite easily. What's that?
Mike, can you make voodoo dolls that look like Uncle Fester asking for a friend? So that is someone
who doesn't really matter.
Took the piss out of me.
It doesn't really matter. It's the intent you put into the voodoo doll.
Helen look up. Hello. Raven, don't forget the dragon under his place.
Oh yeah, now he reckons he's got a dragon that lives under his property.
You really fucked him up, haven't you?
really done him a turn. Yeah, he thinks he's got a dragon that lives under his under his property.
Okay, so how does a normal person? We're normal. How does a normal person find one? Not like they say, join this occult church. Yeah, it's not like they go around and go, I've got an occult church, come and join.
Well, the best thing
so how do you find someone?
How do you find someone? The best thing to do is there's groups on Facebook you can join and they will give you some help and that type of thing. Other than that, it's a case of keeping your eyes and ears open to find anyone who's walking that path.
A practicer.
Who can advise you and stuff like that. But like as I say, the first thing they should be teaching you, anyone who teaches you, shows you properly, that the first lesson is always protection. Always.
There you go, guys. So if you are looking to get involved in the occult, have a little skeg around Facebook, and then go from there.
The thing is that there's plenty of books out there. There's quite a few on Amazon, actually. You can have a look on those. Now, the thing is that you don't go through Amazon and say, oh, yeah, I like that book, I'll have that one, I'll have that one, I'll have that one. A book or an item will pick you.
So which one you're drawn to?
It's where you're drawn to. Like the book in the charity shop, I was drawn to that.
Every time I had mind, I wonder how I guessed. Scarborough Paranormal, may I ask which one of you is the Exorcist? That'd be me, Squire.
Well, we've both done exorcisms in our time, so...
It's okay, love you, made me laugh. Alright, thank you. Owen's family had more culture. Careful, his house is protected by the police. What are the police going to do?
What's the police going to do at the end of the day? I'm arresting you for haunting the house without a license. Go for it.
Not like a telly license, mate.
No, you then you tell them to get lost.
Who else we got? Expert paranormal.
Hello. Who's haunting me then?
Is occultism and paganism similar? Ooh.
Occultism and paganism, I dare say, walk the same lines. But like as I say, each person will walk their own path. So there are little aspects of paganism in the occult, and like there's little aspects of the occult in paganism. Somewhere along the line, it does all cross over, all come together. Then it just splits off again.
Okay, so can I ask what experience did you have? Do you mean if I had an experience in it? And have or who got you into the paranormal? So I think you got me into the paranormal.
Into it, yeah.
My dad got me into the paranormal from like a very young age, like 9, 10. We went looking around the old hall with bloody before or after this paranormal jargon crap came out. We was walking around the old hall with old JVC handheld cameras that were the size of my biceps, right? So before these little EMF mirrors, before all this came out, he had me walking around the old hall with cameras that you would hold and you'd have to look through to walk around with it. It's a bloody nightmare.
Now, interesting thing about that one is that we went down one of the corridors and there was a toilet there, and we had a still camera and we had the JVC camera and that type of thing.
And I am only about 10.
I pointed the camera down this toilet and I said, "Oh, this is where the Grey Lady possibly took a dump." And that's it. The cameras were wiped out. All the energy and the batteries finished with.
And that was every camera. That was mine, his, the one my mum were carrying. I think, did Mum come with us?
Yeah, she came with us.
That was every camera we had. All the cameras just went woof. Bearing in mind, I'm 31 now. So to be introduced to it paranormal, nothing like the occult. So like Dad was saying, you know, the start initially call is like 21. He says what his beliefs are. Paranormal can be bloody exposed to anyone. You can go look for anything, really. Yeah, my dogs have just kicked off because I was taking the piss out. I'm not going to do it again because it'll upset them. I don't want anything kicking off tonight. But yeah, the paranormal, anyone can go look at the paranormal.
We've taken a 12-year-old with us on a paranormal investigations or on a tame one. And they loved it and that type of thing. But like I say, paranormal and the occult are two different things. And we know at the end of the day, we put these protections up to protect these kids that come with us and that type of thing. They are family members, that type of thing. So there's no danger or anything like that. So we do look after them immensely. But as I say, it's a load of fun going to paranormal investigations and that type of thing.
Yes, indeed. Norman's put, I could do with one of you to get rid of the negative spirits in my house. I've got 1 or 2 negative spirits. Not a problem. Drop us a message after live, mate. As long as you're not a million miles away, I can always give advice. I can come out, or I can always point you in a direction of where to go, what to do, and how to do it. It's not be the first time, not be the last time I've done it. I've had quite a few people reach out to me. Mike, something's going on in my house. I think you were one of the first people to reach out to me going, Mike, can you give me some advice on what to do? Elle lives over Yorkshire way, not too far away. And I went, yeah, this is what you do, mate. This is how you do it. Do it with this and let me know how you get on. Did that within a couple of days. Yeah, everything worked as planned. House was settled down. Perfect.
The best way to cleanse a house actually is by white sage incense sticks or white sage cones. That's the best way to do it.
See, that he says white sage, I'll say Palo Santo. But like we always say, we've both got our different beliefs and what we use and what's going to be strong for us. So it's a bit like having a tool.
But we achieve the same goal.
But we do achieve the same goal. So it's like having a tool. We could both have a Phillips screwdriver, but mine's made by Snap-on and his is made by Blue Point. I'm saying Snap-on because I'm the mechanic.
Good.
Hey up, Minty. Hey Liam, good evening all. Hello Paraspirit. His family had mod on here. Hey, like me. Yeah. How's everyone as well? Yes, was going to say Sage. Didn't cleanse, just had a chat. Yeah, so I think I said to Elle, did I instruct you to take charge of it, sit and communicate with it and say, look, this is my property, I'm in charge, and you'll live under my rules, and if you don't, then you're out. I have a lot who disagrees with the white sage, but I agree. I'm not saying I don't disagree with our white sage. I do agree with sage. I carry sage myself. But for me, yes, you and Nick was going to come over. Yeah, that was it. So I said I instructed her what to do, and if it wasn't going to calm down, then me and Nick would go pay it a visit, and the bailiff would be popping it into a line. But yeah, I carry white sage, I carry Palo Santo wood, I carry holy water, and that's just what works for me. That's the tool for me that I use. Minty, is this your dad, mate? Yeah, you're only, 3 hours too late, Minty. Yeah, you're supposed to be the top mod of my team, and you just late. Also, I carry frankincense and myrrh. Okay, interesting. Minty's like, I'm working. You think you're one of the 3 wise men? Is your dad, mate? Exactly, we have our own ways that works for us. Exactly, Buttercup. She's a nice lady, bless her. Didn't want a kicking her. No. Hello, Mr. Bailiff's dad.
Hello.
And I said it might not just be that bad intention. It might just be introduction. When a hex is unjustified, does it still affect the target if the law applies?
It does.
Okay, there you go. Hello,
but if the target's got protection and it's done right, boink,
it'll come back.
So it's just Elvis Presley return to sender.
But if something, let's say you send something to someone, and they've got protection, then there's also a possibility it could
come back on me. But if I've done protection, it'll just go out to the white blue yonder and dissipate.
Okay, so if you've got 2 forms of protection in place there, if you've, I'm going to say you have to protect, send it. If they're protected,
no, you send it then protect.
You send it and then protect yourself, and then they were already protected, so then it bounces off them and then just dissipates.
Yeah,
is that what we're saying around? Okay, just
dissipates.
Cool. Catch you later, Mike and Mark. Thanks for an informative live. No worries, Neil. Cheers, mate. That's why there is. That's why. I'll go with you. That's why there is ill. Okay. Jay, we have 2 spirits in our home. One is always there, but one pops in. Both are kids. And you know what? Leave them be. Child spirits can be some of the most fulfilled, energetic, interesting spirits you can communicate with.
And they can also be mischievous, and it's fun.
And it's fun, yeah. It is fun. Do you know what? When me and Nick went to do the cleansing of the pub in... Nick, where did we go? Derbyshire? You asleep? Just here for Nick. She's asleep. Yeah. I can't remember where it was. So, I can't remember what it was, but it was like 2 hours away. Dewsbury. When we went to Dewsbury to check out what was going on there was a spirit of a child. It was a mischievous little bugger. She was... did we work out she was 6? And then was it Kath or Michelle or someone had behave. Had the ancestry app and managed to link the 6-year-old child Rebecca, wasn't she? Before she'd even hit that bit of the live. And I explained to the landlady at the time that it is just a mischievous child. You just need to tell it, I'm in control. Stop being a little bugger, and we'll entertain you, sort of thing. And the woman was adamant she wanted her removing. I didn't feel right doing it because this child spirit you could tell a mischievous little bugger, and she just wanted to play. But I suppose in some respect, it also helped to find peace. But I think she was just playing with them. But obviously, I have to look at it in the rules of the spiritual law. And then go, right, okay, well, actually, you've actually met the justification for me to pass you over because you've done this, you've turned on the radio at 6 o'clock in the morning, you've disrupted, you've done poltergeist activity as such, then that justifies the passing. So I have to look at a justification before I do what I do. And she met the justification, but as much as I didn't want to do it, the person who ran the property, ran the pub, I kind of still had to do it because it was requested. Okay. But yeah, child spirits. I always say engage with them. Take them on. So that's your protection and action, not the result of unjustified action. What do you mean by unjustified action? So dark magic to piss on someone's bonfire.
Like I say, if you're going to use that type of thing, if you're using dark magic to what I call it always comes back to, the principle, which is do what thy will and that shall be the law. Also, do what thy will, but make sure it's justified what you're doing. I mean, I can't just walk down the street and say, well, I don't like that Pillock's trainers, that's it, I'm going to hex it, because that's nothing against me. But if they personally attack me, then that's justified in having a crack back.
Yeah. So it all has to be justified. Outlaw. Hello, mate. I have an old guy spirit. I think he's looking out for my kid.
So
not uncommon.
Possible.
It's not uncommon, is it?
Possible.
It's very possible.
Very possible.
It is not uncommon. You will find good spirits will look out for children, will look out for the young ones, because they're vulnerable. And there are nasty entities and spirits out there that will try attack children, and you will probably find that the spirit entity that's protecting the child will fight that spirit back that's trying to cause influence and bad influence on the child. It will turn around to it and go, whoa, I've been protecting this kid for a long time. Who the fuck are you? Off you go, back to where you come. And sometimes at that point, we don't even need to get involved. The spiritual world's already done it, which is nice. But yeah, much respect, Outlaw. Not a problem, always happy to answer. But do remember, though, I will give a caution with that one. As much as it's perceiving itself to be nice, it can also be trickery. It can also show itself as an old man, and it can turn around and be like, I'm an old man, I'm here to help. Let me lure your barriers down. Let me gain your trust. Let me really reel you in, and then bang, before you know it, it isn't the nice spirit you thought it was. It's something much, much deeper, something much more horrible. So be cautious with it, whatever it may be. If it is something nice and it doesn't mean harm, just watch it with a fine eye. Just remember, it could be playing nice to gain your trust. And once you give it trust and you've invoked your energy with it, there you go. Both your barriers are down and it's letting loose in your property. So just keep an eye out, mate. All right, just play cautious with it, especially with the kid. Sorry for the different themes of conversation. ADHD rocks. Thank you for tonight. I've learned so much. No, not a problem. Outlaw said, right, okay, thank you. Not a problem, mate. That's advice that we give for nothing. Do you know what I mean? That's
what we're here for.
Yeah, it's what we're here for, I suppose. It's why we do what we do. We go out and give advice and things that shouldn't be played with and stuff like that. Have we got any more for tonight? 11:10. Are we done? Can we call it a night? Can I go to bed? I won't be here till 4 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely brilliant, guys. That's for a buffer cut. No, not a problem. Not a problem at all. The occult is nothing what I perceived it to be. And you know what, El? That's exactly my answer. Thoughts on Ouija boards from the occult?
Ouija boards are okay, providing they are used properly. It's a bit like driving a car. If you drive it properly, it's quite safe. It's when people misuse them and they try to call forward, and I'm going to say his name, I don't want to, but when they try and call forward, Pizzozo, that's when the problems start. Or you can call him Zozo, it's up to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go back to Elmer. He reckons Zozo follows him.
Jesus Christ. But anyway, it's quite possible, I suppose. But that's when the problems start. That's when the problems start, was when they're misused. Oh. And again, after you've finished using the Ouija board, what have you got to do?
Close it properly.
Close it properly and protection.
Protection, yeah.
all the time. If it's Ouija boards, crystal divination, tarot cards, whatever, you still use that protection. You still use it. So no, Ouija boards are okay. In fact, I use them. I've been a part of them and stuff like that, and seances and that type of thing. They are quite safe if they're used properly.
Donna's put White Sage and Palo Santo question, please. After Outlaw's comment about old man spirit. You have to open that question a little bit more for me, Donna, so I know what you want to know. Els put burn it. This has answered loads of questions. Close it down. Wink to open portal, Mike. Winks to open the portal. Yeah, don't. Mike knows my thoughts on the board. I've used a board. I was dead against boards, wasn't I?
He was.
I was dead against Ouija boards. I wouldn't go near one. I wouldn't touch one. That's all that he told me is when I was younger. Do not play with them.
That's because my mind was poisoned by the Christian faith. But when you get older and you learn about them and more stuff like that, then that's when you respect them. You know what to do.
Exactly. So, and I still, only till a year or so ago, was still dead against Ouija boards. And then me and Nick was down at, Nick, where were we? My favourite place. No, where did we get it from? That's it. We went to the Nottingham Haunted Artifact Centre, and that's where we bought one from. And I went, balls to it, I'm going to buy one, and we're going to do it, and we're going to see what happens. And me and Nick, me and her, there was literally me and her at Rossby, and I said, right, let's do it, me and you. Nick had actually, and I will give her 100 on this, Nick had, and this is why I always let Nick do it, because she took control and she's really good at it. Now, I can't remember stuff like that, but she clearly can. It was just me and Nick, and we tried the board. I asked Nick to open it, because as we bought it, we was driving back from where we got it from. She read all about how to open it, all about how to close it, the prayers you do, how to generate the energy with it, in what ways you should rotate the planchette, and which ways you should open it and close it. She did a lot of work on the board. When it actually came to doing the board at Rossby, just me and Nick, no one was there, no other paranormal teams, that was it, just me and Nick there, we actually got activity from it. And the planchette was moving. We got a little bit of stuff that made sense, but other than that, it was just mindless moving. I reckon if there'd have been another 2 more people there, then the energy would have been greater, and then we'd have got a lot more things that made sense. And then Nick performed again, absolutely, and closed the board appropriately. I let Nick open the board now and close the board because she knows exactly what she's doing. She's not stupid. She's clued up. She knows all about a Ouija board and how to do it, and hats off to her. I'll take it as a piece of equipment, but I trust Nick fully on what to do and how to play with it. What about mirrors? You don't... Oh, God.
Mirrors can be used in different ways.
Yeah. No, one of someone here was told that your mirror shouldn't face your bed.
No, it shouldn't actually face an open door or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, there's a cruel joke that was actually done on a woman called Sue.
Oh.
I'll tell you about this one. Is that my Auntie Maureen and my mum and this woman called Sue was all downstairs talking, and they was talking about the occult and that type of thing. I was only young at the time, so I'm earwigging it. And my Auntie Maureen turned round to Sue and she says, do you know they say if you've got a mirror facing a door that you're letting someone in from the other side? Sue went, oh, really? She says, oh, I'm just going to use the toilet and stuff like that. And so she went next door. Well, you can use mine, Sue. No, it's all right. She went next door where she lived. And the next minute you could hear furniture being moved about. Now, like I say, I lived in Victoria Close, which was highly active. And you probably remember a long time ago, for people who are my age, you used to get these catalogues called Grattan's, Great Universal and stuff like that.
No.
Well, Sue ordered a couple of bras. And my mum turned around and she says, go upstairs in my room and try them on, make sure they fit, So Sue, she was a big lass up top, let's say, and she goes upstairs to try one of these bras on and stuff like that. Well, something happened up there and Sue came thundering down the stairs. Now she's trying to cover one up, but the others go
God.
It actually happened. You could see the thing go flop, 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 flop.
All right. Fucking mad. Elle messaged me about mirrors. Someone had told her that a mirror can't face a bed, and I said, "It's a load of crap, really."
It's
I said,
bollocks.
"A mirror can't face a mirror because that opens a portal." I said, "A mirror technically can't face a door." I said, "Because it opens a doorway to something." I says, "But the mirror can happily face the bed." I said, "You just can't have it facing your bed because it gets a bit weird at times if you use your imagination."
Yeah, if basically it's a load of wives' tales and that type of thing. The only way you can really open that type of thing is if you do the ceremony, then that does happen.
Kerry's put, "I'd use one with you and Nick. Mine, else because I trust you and you, Mike." That's cheers, mate. Where's the best place to get a magic blindfold? What's a magic blindfold?
There isn't such thing. You can just do it yourself.
Don't play with a board unless you really know what you're doing, basically. Yeah. Kerry's put, "No, what I meant was, sorry. I mean, I wouldn't use one unless it was with you and Nick." They sold them in toy shops back in the day.
They did.
Has your dad used table tipping?
I have.
He hadn't used our table, but that table we got at that farm was quite interesting. They started out as Hasbro game, I believe.
That's right, yeah.
As a Hasbro. Yes, they did. Crazy, right? I got a 6-foot mirror facing our bed, and that's fine, mate. I've got mirrored wardrobes facing my bed. Yeah, as long as they don't face another mirror, you're fine.
And there's something really, really wrong if you've got them on the ceiling facing the bed.
Yeah, I said that a couple of weeks, but how do if it's on the roof, there's something really wrong. Your bed's facing the mirror is fine. Yep, Grattan catalogue. Raven, the mind boggles. My mirror is on the ceiling. Dirty old man. That's where my brain went to. Aston, he has a magic blindfold. Oh no. Oh,
no, I don't have one of those. I don't need one.
He's on about helmet and the Ann Summers blindfold. I knew what they meant, lol. I was only head mod. Laughing faces. Right, guys. We're going to call that for the night. We've both got jobs to go to in the morning, and I need a shower because I am still covered in paint from work. So, thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been, I hope you've all taken something from this, because even I have taken something from this tonight. No, not a problem, Donna. That's fantastic. I did say I was going to do it, and you know, it has been very, very interesting. It's opened my eyes somewhat a little bit as well. You know, this isn't just a learning experience for you; it's a learning experience for me. And like I always say, whatever I tend to learn, 80,000 likes. Thank you very much, guys. Nice to meet you. Make my room up, Mr. Mike's dad. First time I've watched you someone else's live from beginning to end. No, thank you. I have more questions. We'll do it again in a couple of weeks. How's about that? And then you can find some more questions for us. Not for the live though. Okay. I can pop you some message. Pop us a message. I can put you in the right direction, mate. But yeah, it's been an eye opener. I learn at the exact same time you guys learn. You know, apart from when I'm reading and I'm taking what I learn from books. Kerry, thank you for the gifts, my love. I appreciate that. Annie, thank you for the gifts. But yeah, I learn as well. Hopefully not about mirrors on the ceiling. I don't learn about mirrors on the ceiling. I watched a 70s film once and it turned really weird really quick. They had like car keys and bowls and stuff and it was really strange. So yeah, it is interesting to look at how other faiths and religions and beliefs are looked at and viewed. I hope you've all got the answer that I got from a long time ago, from where the occult isn't recognised as Satanism, because I generally used to believe it was. It's actually not. It's just what people... Did you tell your dad about the cassette player? What, you mean when the LED light exploded and nearly took my ear off with the debut box? Yes, eyes have been opened. And I think that's the thing. I think if you can do this regularly, then you can not so much. I'm not saying push the occult, but you can open people's eyes to it and the beliefs of the occult. And I'm not an occultist, but I very much like know by not knowing how to work a cassette player. Go away, it's not funny. I don't know how to work a cassette player. I'm fucking terrible with it, in fact.
Luddite technology to him.
It is. You thought you were all going to get stones out and start banging them together to make fire. So yeah, it's interesting, and I hope you've all taken something from it. I hope you've all, you take a different outlook on things and start your own little journey. I might even start my own little journey, but I'm not so much the occult is interesting, but that doesn't quite grasp my attention. Like I said to you the other night, voodoo actually grasps my attention fully. And that's what I'm drawn to energy-wise. Now that could be from my great-granddad, couldn't it really? Who was into, wasn't he like one of the high-up voodoo?
He was, yeah.
So that was obviously my great-granddad is my dad's granddad. He was a high-up voodoo priest. Yeah, so for me, the occult is interesting. But I am very much more swayed towards voodoo because it does look very interesting, and I am drawn to it for some really, really weird reason. I want to know why. It's good to ask questions to someone who knows, not who thinks they know. So thank you. No, and if we didn't know an answer, well, we just tell you we don't know. I'm not going to go Google it or try fake it or bullshit you. We don't work like that. I talked a little bit about tarot. I talked a little bit about tarot. Do you know what tarot vision wheel is? A tarot. See, I don't know a lot about tarot.
See, I've never come across that one.
Not a tarot vision wheel.
I've never seen that one.
I don't think I have it. I suppose if you ask like a proper gypsy, they would probably know.
Not really, no.
No?
No.
Okay. Oh, thanks, Kerry. So yeah, if we don't know, we're not going to try and pull the wool over your eyes and bullshit you. We'll just say, no. Is voodoo bad? People always say it is. No, see, my understanding of it so far, for the brief, I'm not in deep, and I'm not as far as I want to be with it.
Voodoo's more of a faith than it is a whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
You've got people who follow the voodoo faith. And again, it comes from Catholicism at the end of the day, because a lot of people used to go for Catholic and that type of thing, and used to say that they used to, go for the Catholic. And as we've just explained tonight, that voodoo came from Catholicism. So again, it's not a practice as such; it's more of a faith.
Yeah. So and that's the route I want to look at and go down. And if I was to go very much further, then I would probably looking at making puppets and going down that. But the thing with puppets is they're more European based than they are voodoo. I think it all started in the European basis with puppets and stuff, didn't it?
Sort of, yeah. See, what you got to look at is with voodoo, you've got the deities like Papa Legba and stuff like that, and you've got Marmalou and them type of things, and they're like gods of the voodoo thingy. With who give them advice and that type of thing. With Catholicism, you've got someone like Daddy Red Sox, as I nickname him, the Pope, and he gives them guidance and that type of thing. So when it comes down to it, you look at it like this: is that they're both faiths, but one of them is more advanced than the other. Now I know which one's more advanced, but I'm going to let you make your own mind up on that one.
There you go. That's his belief. Get it? So, perceived paranormal. I've just put, it's like anything. There is good and bad. You choose your path. It is no different than other religions. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Amy's put, we now require a learning live once a week.
Oh, good
God. Daddy Red Sox love it. Right. Okay. So we're going to bid you farewell. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll have a look, see if we do some more educational stuff and go from there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I hope you guys have learned a lot. And Occult Dad here has been able to teach you guys a lot. So Dad needs a TikTok account now. He's got one. He's called the Dark Priest 04, I think.
I am.
Yeah, so if you go look for the Dark Priest 04, he is on there. He just needs to go live once a week, doesn't he? He teaches all. Well, you hear more about voodoo is evil, modern, good. Learn different from today.
That's because the Christian faith want you to believe that. They don't want you walking away with your money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. So, good night. God bless. And Dad will say something totally different to me. And God bless.
Blessed be all of yous.
There you go. And we hope you all sleep well. And we'll see you again soon. All right, guys.
Good night.
Night. And